What is up, everyone? Welcome back to another EpicVerse live show. It is me, your boy, Josiah, and I have, of course, our tried and true awesome panelists here. We have Disbrew, the resident Brit, and the sage of all ages. How's it going, Disbrew?
I'm good. I can barely hear anyone after Windows reset all of my audio settings, and I literally, during the stream, I got deafened by hello, so...
I still have a little bit of ringing.
I'm still kind of recovering from the shell shock of that. But
and we have Mike, the man of great hair, and our resident black guy. How's it going, Mike?
Wow. You really took way too long to figure out what to say there. You're like, he's got hair,
and that's the best he came.
And he's the shovel knight.
He's got
Mike is the shovel knight.
Yeah.
So.
Sure.
Josiah just
he's just like calling out stuff in your background.
Yeah, he's got a blue.
Josiah literally
takes up space.
He couldn't think of anything to say, so he just diverted to tokenism.
My favorite thing is like he's been on YouTube probably longer than all of us.
Yeah,
he's been at this so long, and he's like, "Wow, there's a blue background." Yeah,
welcome.
See, the way that I would do an intro normally is just like it freaks you guys out, so I just don't do it. You know.
Well, this is the thing. I don't know what your actual like intro is because every week you change it. Sometimes you do it like a full announcer.
Nothing makes me happier. Nothing makes me happier than coming on here and watching you guys be uncomfortable and confused. I love it. So
it's like some weeks you just read off people's names and that's it. Yes. That's like, what do you think? Like, I didn't have anything prepared.
Hey,
I frequently am all of the above, uncomfortable and confused. So it's okay.
I enjoy mind fucking people sometimes. So
it's that's weird.
I'm glad you added them.
And then we have Ben.
Yeah, hi, it's me. Hello, hi.
How's it going, Ben?
Why do you look like a refugee right now, Ben? He looks like he's just like, we need help. Please, we need the money. My home has been destroyed.
I'm doing good.
Everything I have is in this wardrobe on my back. It's like tied to him.
Yeah.
Ben, why do you hop locations every week?
Yeah.
Because I like to keep things interesting, keep it a little spicy, mix it up, make sure that nobody's getting too bored with my location.
Nothing
as you can see, I've got a different background.
Ben, we had to scream at you to get you to be on camera in the first place.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
You weren't even going to be on camera.
Well, that's not another great place to be on camera. I mean, you just got a bunch of wood behind me. Nobody wants to see my wood.
No, we don't want to see your wood, but the wood behind you we want to see.
Exactly.
Other people's wood I'm fine with.
Yeah. I like wood, actually. Well, not,
No, you said that.
Trees.
I love wood. I love wood.
Trees are great.
Yeah. Someone clip that.
I'm just drunk then as well.
Yeah.
That reminds me of...
I love diversity. That was the same comment.
That reminds me of this famous clip.
I swallow cum.
Me too, man.
I think what makes that clip is the Me Too, man.
Yeah.
Yep. It's like your bro just had affirmation for the first time.
He was just like, yeah, man, we're good.
Yeah. Oh man, but it's great having everyone here. It's awesome to be back, and we have some spicy topics to get to today.
Spicy.
The first thing that I want to get to before we get into any of that, by the way, it's like pouring rain right now.
It's so rainy here, dude.
So if you guys hear what sounds like the thundering of thousands of hooves, it is not that.
The thunder of the gods.
So we have this little fancy little paper here that apparently is a local free paper that is just being distributed around where I live. And there was something in here that I wanted. Well, I was going to say something, but then disappeared because this is supposed to be directed at Disbrew. So, and Ben now apparently too. So,
oh my gosh, we just lost everybody. We'll just wait to do it while you're doing that.
Yeah.
I'll shout out. So normally in the chat we have our wonderful, amazing mod Ruthie. She helps us out a lot. She cannot make it today because she is currently, wow, we lost this bro completely. The U.S. consulate just instructed American government employees to shelter in place till further notice after reports of violence in parts of Baja California. And Mexico is currently locked down as well. And Ruthie is currently in that area. So we just want to send our best wishes to Ruthie. I hope she's safe. Hope that all gets resolved quickly so she can go back to life as it is. So, yeah.
Facts.
So, yeah, Ruthie's awesome. Ruthie's great. And we'll definitely be keeping her in our thoughts and everything else. So she's dealing with all of that.
Let's say the typical thing, thoughts and prayers.
Yeah,
yeah,
that's right. So yeah, I guess we'll the chat will kind of be the wild west today. So so that'll be fun. But yeah, thank you everyone for coming. We really do appreciate everyone being here for the stream and everything else. It's always awesome having you guys here every week. And it's gonna be. I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to the chat because I don't. Yeah.
Josiah doesn't care about us. Yeah, we're fine.
Chat,
I mean,
I appreciate you, chat. I really do. So so yeah, we have also a Boomer Stick in the chat as well, who is our editor. He's doing absolutely fantastic work over on the More Josiah Rises channel and over on the EpicVerse podcast as well. So make sure that you go check out the EpicVerse podcast. We have a YouTube channel for it. We also are on all of your favorite audio podcast platforms. So make sure that you go check that out as well. And apparently Disprue died. So that's a thing.
That's really sad.
Ben looks like he's Harry Potter in the cupboard under the stairs.
Yeah.
Pretty accurate.
Yeah, you could say that.
Except he's a Hufflepuff.
Yeah.
So
he's closer like a Neville Longbottom, but without like the cool ending.
Yeah.
Where he kills, Nagini.
Yeah.
He's like, instead he like, I don't know, freaking uses his magic to, I don't know, make farts evaporate or something. I don't
know. What? That sounds like a really dumb power.
What would be your? This is listen. I know Josiah, you're not really into Harry Potter. That's fine. Listen, it's fine. Ben, what would be like your the class?
Patronus?
No. Nobody. We already know your Patronus is probably going to be like freaking Cleafer or something like that. No. What would be your like magic school of choice?
What do you mean, like house, like? No,
we already know your Hufflepuff magic. Like the different types of styles of magic. There's like potion making. There's all that different.
I don't know.
Okay, cool. That's fun.
Hey, welcome back.
Any sort of if I could talk to animals and stuff like that, that's what I'd be into.
So you'd be like Hagrid.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
StreamYard kicked me and won't let me load back in, so I had to load up a different browser before it allows me to work. I have no idea what happened.
Wow.
StreamYard needs to get
spicy topics. He's got to go.
Yeah.
What is your Patronus, Ben? Please tell us what your Patronus is, Ben.
Can you share that on stream?
Yeah. What about your Patronus, Ben?
I can't remember, but it's some kind of bird.
That sounds about right. Is it a parakeet?
Yeah. No, I don't remember what it is.
It's a parakeet.
No, hold on. You know what?
It's a parakeet.
Wait, what the heck is a Patronus?
Oh my god!
You watch Harry Potter?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't really care while I was watching it, but
wow,
it's
like literally so good.
It's like a spirit animal.
It's
like a manifestation of like your goodness or whatever, and it's different creatures.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
What happens if you're evil?
That still also does
pretty
that
accurate,
too.
to be honest. So
wow.
Yeah.
Well, we'll stop talking about Harry Potter. It's fine.
No, it's fine. Actually, I wanted to pull this up because I thought that this would be kind of fun.
What are you about to pull out?
All right, you guys ready for this?
No,
yes.
I really am not.
Yes.
Harry Potter movies tier list.
Did you really have that ready to go?
No.
Yeah,
we'll go with
It's
that.
all bookmarked.
Why is there no F? We're gonna change this to F.
Said.
So let's go ahead and kind of go through this because I have my opinions on where.
Hold on, real quick. I do want to point out Disprue's never seen any of the.
No, I've seen the one where they travel back in time.
Okay, yeah.
And
Don't put
they
them
meet,
all
like,
down
a
there.
bird.
Come on.
Because that's awful.
No, that's like the best one, Dispru.
I spent the entire movie literally waiting for the movie to start. I thought this was an intro to something else.
Put them back.
Nothing happened at the entire movie.
Prisoner of Azkaban is the best
Prisoner
one.
of Azkaban
If
literally
that's the
is
best
one
one,
of the best
I'm so glad I've not
Okay,
seen the
all right,
rest.
all right. Here.
I
wanna
can't
know.
tell which one is which from like the thumbnails are too small.
I
but,
hate you so much, Josiah.
So big a
Oh
fan
my
you are.
God.
So,
I can't
But
even
this
tell
this
them
would be
by the
like
pictures.
my ranking of no, actually it'd be more like let's see, where is it? There's this one would be like C, and then this one would be like D.
I was gonna say
This one
you
would be
can tell
like
these are old films when none of them are
B.
the D.
That'd probably be more of
Yeah.
like what it would look like.
why are you the worst,
No.
Josiah?
All right, I'm gonna rank these.
No, don't do it, Ben.
Now, Mike, I think you'll like my rating.
His whole life has been preparing for this moment.
Yeah, he's like, oh my god, I get a chance.
I think so.
Okay, well for me, let's start with the first one. Which one's this is the
That's
first
the
one,
first
right?
one. Yeah,
I don't know.
Okay.
I can't see
First
it. It's so
one-
small.
Yeah, they are pretty tiny.
I can see it.
unfortunately.
Calm down.
Does that help? Does that
Yeah.
help?
No, it just
that
made
always
all...
calms people down.
Yeah,
Exactly.
Does that
Telling
help
him to
at all?
calm down.
you
Tried and
seem
true.
upset.
Oh my, here we go. Is that better?
Oh yeah,
Sure,
that's so
whatever.
much better.
Okay.
Good enough for me.
Okay,
sure.
so this is the first one.
jeez.
First one, personally, I would say first one's an F.
I would
Huh?
put the first one at a C tier.
C?
It's a
I'd
solid
probably
C.
give it a D.
Yeah.
We just leave it in the D category. 'cause
Alright.
it's
Wait, so the
basically-
first movie is that bad and it's still got all the sequels?
Yeah, it's pretty impressive.
Well, it's very
Wow.
it's very
It's a-
kiddie. It fits
It
the
sets
kid
up the
theme
story,
a lot.
though. It does set up the story, and you kind of have to have it.
Anytime I've ever
Wait, yeah.
rewatched Harry Potter,
Yeah.
it's the first two are a slog.
I
Yeah.
think you've got to
I-
judge it by does it appeal to the age range it was aimed at?
Yes,
So-
and 100%
yes,
does. It's
it
for
does.
kids, like 100%. Yeah.
But
I
the
gotta-
characters,
hold
the
on,
characters
hold
do
on, hold
grow.
on.
Yeah.
Hold on. I got to read the super chat from Christopher Arcella. Thank you so much, sir. Appreciate you. Appreciate all of your support. Ben, why are you sitting on the effing floor?
Because I just am.
Oh,
No,
I
it's
just
because.
thought
Go ahead.
the chest of drawers was that big. It was like towers behind him.
Yeah, it's just this massive. Like he has like 12-foot ceilings, and it's just an unnaturally large. Yeah.
You know, like how you can never really tell how tall someone is on like a webcam. Well, Ben happens to be is actually a midget. So,
Yeah.
um,
Ben
Yeah.
is actually like 3.5 feet tall.
It's true.
so
Yeah, I
You
think
know-
Plaps told me I look short on camera. I'm like, how on? I think it was Plaps. Someone did like today or yesterday. I'm like,
Mr.
how on
Hall-
earth do you look tall or short on
How
camera?
tall are
This
you?
isn't my actual size.
yeah,
Don't
Yeah.
listen to Blabs.
How tall
Blabs
are you?
makes weird decisions.
I know.
yeah, and she's Canadian. So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Blabs is Canadian and she eats bagel sandwiches. So
yeah.
Mhm.
All right. So, which one's the second one here? Because I have
The
no idea.
next one right there, the one literally right after the one you were looking at.
This one.
I think
Yeah.
I put them in all
Okay.
in order. yeah.
That would be a D. Absolutely.
Really?
The first two Harry Potter movies are
Where the
the
hell
worst
is
of
Blabs
them.
for this? That's a really good question. Maybe I should find out where Blabs is.
I
No,
would
I
give it
don't-
an F. So I'm going to give it an F.
Wow.
Wow.
Uh,
So they came out with 2 horrible movies and still got
Yeah.
sequels.
Alright.
This is
Yeah.
getting more
But-
impressive as
alright.
it goes on.
All right. Prisoner of Azkaban, though.
Is that this one?
Nope.
It's S tier.
No. That's the to the right. One more.
This one.
That one. That is an A tier. Harry Potter.
What?
It should be
No.
S tier. Oh, come
No,
on,
it-
Josiah.
it-
It's
it-
the
it-
best
it's
directed
the
one
best
of
one,
the
it
It
three.
would easily
Come
be an S
on.
tier. It would be an S tier
Come
if there was an
on.
S tier here.
It's the best one of the whole of all the movies. It's
What?
not even close.
I would argue
it's
that
the
that
best
and-
directed.
I would argue
I
that
think
that and
I
Goblet of
I
Fire
think
are
I
the
fell
best.
asleep during this one.
Wow.
What?
Yeah.
I'm not surprised.
Yeah.
I
And
wish I'd
introduced
fallen
the
asleep
Sirius
during that
Black,
one.
who's a great character.
No, he's not. He was like
Oh
the
my
most
God.
boring character ever.
I should have never agreed to this.
All right.
This is your freaking fault, Ben. I said not to do this.
Look, I love you know
Alright.
this gets defined as a spicy topic.
Hey,
I would
it's
probably
an
give
A
this
tier.
one like a D. So
It's
You'd
A
give
tier.
it a D?
yeah,
Wow.
from what I remember.
Alfonso
Wasn't really that
Cuarón
much.
directed that. Alfonso Cuarón is like S tier
So?
director. Oh
What?
my God.
No.
All right.
Oh my
Goblet of
gosh,
Fire.
dude. Oh my. I need
All right,
to.
which
fuck-
one's Goblet
Oh,
of
Harry, Harry with the long hair, the really
Oh
long
yeah,
hair.
this one. Yeah.
Yep.
Why did I agree to this?
All right, Goblet of Fire is what I would say is a B tier. It's a good movie.
I'm so annoyed right now.
Goblet of Fire
give
is
it
really
a-
good. That's the
Yeah,
first
but
time.
he has the stupid hair. in that
Okay,
one.
but
That
it's-
was like,
Oh
It-
my
it's-
god!
In-depth movie reviews with Josiah. Yeah, but
Yeah,
he's got stupid hair.
Look at his hair.
I don't remember
Okay.
any. The only thing I remember about these movies is that Snape was
Why
the only.
are you
decent
ranking
character.
them then if you don't remember them?
Snape.
You
Okay,
literally
Even
directed
I've never done a
Children of
Harry
Men
Potter
in
tier list.
Gravity? Oh my god,
Snape
dude.
is the only character worth being part of this whole.
Oh
thing.
my
Wow.
god!
Every
Why
other
did I
character
agree to
kind of
this?
sucks.
man.
So.
If Blabs was here, she would be like screaming at you right now.
Well, yeah, but cheese bagel sandwiches. So.
Yeah.
All right, so this is
I'm
the
just
next one,
amazed
right?
Blabs has dedicated their
yes,
life to a
that-
franchise where Prisoner of Azkaban is the
Order
best
of the
film.
Phoenix. Order of the Phoenix is a D tier.
B,
D.
D.
I'd give it
One
a
of-
C.
One of the worst movies in
Alright.
the franchise.
Well, I would give it
but
probably an F. so
Order
we'll
of the
go D.
Phoenix is absolutely the best book in the franchise, and it
Sure.
was a horrible adaptation.
Yeah, but we don't care about the books.
I do.
Nobody reads
All
those.
right, Half Blood
Nobody
Prince is
reads
next.
books.
Is that this one?
Yep, that's that one. I would give that a B.
I'd give it a C,
I think I
actually.
remember. I think
That's
I
the one where
remember liking
Dumbledore
this one.
dies.
I'd give it
Spoiler
a C, to be honest, because I
No, it's
rewatched
a
it
B.
recently.
Dumbledore
It's kind of
dying
a
is a
mess.
huge highlight.
It is a
so
huge
I would-
highlight. In fact, that bumps the whole movie up a whole tier. Because
Why is it a
Dumbledore-
highlight? Josiah doesn't even like Dumbledore. He's saying it's a good thing that he died.
Yeah,
Yeah, exactly.
Ben, it's not
He's
a
gotta
good
like
thing
it
that
for
he
something.
died. Oh
Dude,
my
frick
God.
Dumbledore.
Dumbledore is a groomer. I don't
Dumbledore.
care what
No,
anyone says.
Dumbledore
No, he's
is
not.
Dumbledore is a manipulative piece of garbage in that entire
Yeah,
series.
he is, but literally, he's the only reason they won.
We're gonna
Okay,
give it.
but he's
an
still a
A.
manipulative piece of garbage.
He's still the only reason they won, Ben. Get rid of him out of the franchise, and Harry dies in the first book.
I didn't
That's
say
it.
get. I didn't
I
say
mean,
get
that'd be
rid
an
of him.
advantage.
All right,
I didn't say get
We're gonna
rid
give
of
it
him.
an A
Every
because
cloud. That's all I'm
Dumbledore
saying.
dies.
All right, because Dumbledore dies. All right, fair enough. And then we've got that one. Yep.
This
The one
one.
you were just nope. The yeah, that one.
This one.
Yeah, the
I actually
Deathly
remember
Hallows Part
liking
1.
this one quite a bit.
It's good. I would say it's a B.
You don't remember anything about these movies, Josiah.
He likes his hair.
Deathly Hallows
Yeah.
Part 2 is B.
His
I would
hair
say
is
it's a
pretty
B tier.
decent in this one, actually. So.
Hey.
I hate this so
It's
much.
a B
I
tier.
should not have been here
B?
for this.
B tier. Yeah.
Yeah, I'd say that's probably pretty
Oh
accurate.
my god, dude! Oh my god!
And then this is the last one, right?
Yep.
Yeah,
I would say
sure.
That's either an A or a B. It wavers between.
Last
both.
one kind of sucks because the,
Oh, wow, I
the final
think
fight
it's great.
between Harry Potter and what's his face?
Yeah, what's his name, Josiah? What's
He-
the villain's name in Harry Potter, Josiah?
I mean, in that one, he looks like. 'Cause after he did Harry Potter, he came out and went, I can't be typecast to this little kind of magician dude. So he came out, I think the first movie he did was about football hooliganism. And that picture reminds me of him with like his jacket on and stuff.
I love it.
It's just like, no.
Yeah.
I'm going out for a fight this time.
it was not good. And the final fight was basically them just holding their wands and just going.
No, that movie's great.
At each other.
I
It
think I've
was
seen
not-
that one though.
Yeah, it's pretty.
It wasn't.
It's pretty bad. It's pretty bad.
All right.
So we're gonna give that a C, I think.
See,
All
I
right,
want to
and
give it a
then-
B only because at the very end, before they do their crappy
Yeah.
little like wizard duel, Harry Potter literally throws Voldemort off the top of the roof.
It's true. And there's
That's
actually
my
some
favorite
really
part
good
is he's like,
scenes in
hey,
that movie.
let's start this like let's finish this like we started it, and he just throws him off a roof, and he was about to just like splat them both on the ground and die.
Yeah.
And that's
We're
pretty
gonna
base
give it an F actually.
You're a
Wow.
piece of shit. You're a piece of shit. I hate you so much.
Now we get to Fantastic Beasts.
Yeah,
The,
the
first
first one's A
Fantastic
tier.
Beast is just
It's an A tier.
amazing.
Yeah,
it's
it's an A
amazing.
tier.
And
the
then the
last
second one was terrible. Like,
That's
It's
an
an
F
F.
tier.
total F. It's a
And the
total
third
F.
one is also an F.
I would say
Yes.
the third one's a D.
Cool. Can we move on? 'Cause
So
I'm
here
really
is
fuck-
the
I'm so
official
annoyed right now.
Verse ranking.
No, this is
for-
not official at all.
for
This is legitimate.
I think it is.
for Harry
I
Potter.
take this as fact. I
don't
trust
think it's
Josiah's
fact.
judgment.
Can
I don't.
someone please send this to Blabs just so that she pops a blood vessel?
Yes, please do send this to Blabs because I think it'd be funny.
So
And then
anyway,
tell her-
with that
yeah.
being said, I'm glad we got that out of the way, everyone. Thank you so much.
Just
for your
wait until you see
contributions.
Josiah's
and-
Star Wars Josiah's Star Wars.
No,
ranking.
Ben. Are you trying to piss me off?
Yes, I think that was literally the
I
entire
think
intention of that
it's literally comedy, Mike.
segment. You know what I mean? The hint
mean,
of that was,
we could do
I
that.
like this guy's hair. B.
I hate it so much.
We'll save the Star Wars tier list for next week, maybe.
No, all right.
But I want to actually get to this real quick because this is kind of a big deal.
He's gonna like raise hair. I can see it coming.
So
Raised hair is great.
like
She's-
this, we have this
she's not
local
old.
paper here. Okay, we have this local kind of like it's not a newspaper, but it's more like just like fancy little bits of information and stuff. And they have this one in here that I thought was fascinating. That I thought that Disbrew, with all of his professional UK knowledge, could help us out with. So they have a
I
strange
like the
but
UK
true.
style.
They have a strange but true fact in here that says calling a man bald qualifies as sexual harassment in the United Kingdom. Is that true?
What was that qualifies?
Calling a man bald qualifies as sexual harassment in the United Kingdom.
Is that true?
Oh, I heard there was a story about it. Does come from somewhere. That was quite recent. Maybe like a couple of months back.
That's pretty bad.
Interesting.
Yeah, there's so many weird things like that though. Like if you retweet someone, people can turn up on your door and stuff. So,
Oof.
I can't remember the article.
That's
I wish
crazy.
you had the article. That definitely refers to something. I just can't remember what it was.
Mm-hmm.
And
So
it's very weird that it went that way though, because
Yeah.
normally it's entirely one way, and that was. I think what's happened is people have found out that if you start making laws up that go like that, people can just do like malicious compliance.
Yes.
And they will be like, well, it happened to me. I mean, look, you said anxiety means that now people can turn up on your door. Well, I got anxiety over this government tweet that you're going to raise my taxes.
Yeah.
Now they're like investigating the tax man.
So there is some merit to that.
Yeah, it was a news article. I just can't remember the story.
That's crazy. Wow.
See if I can find it.
Yeah, that's just crazy because I don't know, like you see people. There's like people that call people all sorts of crazy names here in America.
Oh, there
all
you
the
go.
time, and
2 months ago. Yeah, it's harassment. An employment tribunal ruled it.
oh
So
wow,
yeah, officially.
it's official. Wow. So
The ruling made by a panel of 3 men. This is the Guardian, so they had to point that out because they're gonna try and claim that it was an incredible rule. Comes in a case between a veteran electrician and the manufacturing firm where he was employed.
Nice.
jeez.
Wow.
Oh man.
Oh wow. He was on the shop floor, and King had referred to him as a bold C word. He said
amazing.
he was less upset by the this is in quotes, the Anglo-Saxon language than the comment on his appearance. It's like, well, look, as long he could call me that as well, but calling me bald, that's a step too far.
That's amazing. Oh my
We have
God.
little doubt
that's
that
so
being
good.
referred to in this pejorative manner was unwanted conduct as far as he was concerned. This is strong language. Although we found the industrial language was commonplace in West Yorkshire, in our opinion, they crossed the line by making remarks on the personal appearance.
Jeez.
So the C word is still totally okay.
Oh
It's
no, that's
like-
fine, yeah.
yeah.
But calling him bald, and this is another quote, created an intimidating, hostile, degrading, humiliating, and offensive environment.
Oh my gosh. Jeez.
By his own admission, Mr. King's intention was to threaten and insult him.
Well, it sounds
In
like you
our
did a pretty good job.
Oh wow! In our judgment, there is a connection between the word bald and the protected characteristic of sex in the other.
No way. That's insane.
I don't know where they-
This is what happens. You make rules which are deliberately generic so that they
Yeah.
can apply to as many people as possible.
Yeah.
Like the United Nations defined woman as like something ethereal and mysterious and like a part of the universe, and like that doesn't mean anything. But that you tried to include everything, and so therefore you included absolutely nothing, and that's what these laws are. Because they're
Yeah.
just like, well, it's about how the person feels and how they took it. Well, now it's literally just, someone can walk across the street and suddenly you're having to face questions because like I said, there was a dog who got done for a hate crime because he crapped on someone's front door, and the guy reported the dog.
I still
Not the
think
owner,
that's
the dog.
funniest thing ever.
Oh my god. I think I heard
Can't
a
even
story
imagine.
once from Australia of this there's like this burglar that was trying to get into someone's house, and he got attacked by the dog, and because of that, the owners got in trouble because their dog attacked the burglar.
I wouldn't be surprised if we had.
That's
What?
how messed up like self-defense laws are in Australia.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if it was the same over here.
Yeah, that can happen. That can happen over here too, except it's way more murky because a judge could literally see the case and be like, "This is bullcrap. Get out of here. Like, get it out of my face." But yeah, that's really weird.
I think.
Well,
I think
we
over
have a
here,
little bit more. We have a little bit more value when it comes to self-defense here than other countries
That's
do.
true.
So
unless you're in California.
yeah, that's also true.
Yeah.
My favorite thing about like the hate crime laws over here is that it doesn't have to even be like if you're talking to someone and you're like friends. It doesn't have to be the person reporting them. Someone can watch your interaction and they can get offended for the other person and report them, even if the person is fine, because
Oh my
it's only
God.
what someone perceives to be, not the person you're talking to.
Right.
So.
Right.
Yeah, you could just be friends and it's like normal, but someone else, I got offended and that's horrible.
That's
And it goes, although it's a non-crime, like hate crime kind of listing, it does go on your record and it will turn up in CRB checks, which are used for like security checks for companies. So you can, and you won't know, like they'll just come back, it came back positive, and you won't know why.
Wow.
That's insane.
Yeah.
That is nuts, dude. That is nuts.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
Over here, I was just telling Josiah about this. Over here, there was a lady in California who was in a forum trying to figure out what to do because she went to go sell her house, and somebody had just moved into the house and started squatting in it because it was like her secondary house. And she went, "Hey, I'm selling this house. You got to get out of here." And they're like, "No, I'm not gonna." So she went to the police, and the police are like, "What are we supposed to do about it?" And she's like, "Get him out of the house." And they're like, "Well, that's going to be a lot more complicated than you realize." They're like, "It might be better just to like try to sell the house with them living in it and let the other owners deal with it." Yeah, because over here, in certain states, like we have like squatting rights, where like you have to give them like basically like 30 days before you can even take them to court for getting them out of the house, and then the police have to decide whether or not they're going to even enforce getting the people out of the house. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Our squatters' rights are even weirder. I think if you live in a property, like squat in a property for a certain amount of years, you own the property. And I'm pretty sure at one point a homeless person did like inherit a mansion or something because he'd squatted in it for so long. It's like decades, but the dude managed it. It was weird.
That's amazing.
That was when I was a kid. They're like everybody knew because the news were like ticking down. If he's here for another 5 days, he owns the place. it was bizarre.
My thing is like the best part would be he gets the place and then he gets like the letter for property taxes and the government's like,
"Oh no, I'm sure he would."
Yeah. The government's like, "So you ready to pay them property taxes?
You gonna pay
last 10 years?" Yeah.
That's crazy, man.
Yeah.
That's just crazy.
Yeah,
this isn't
crazy.
obviously. I mean, this kind of just made me think of that for some reason. So I just wanted to share this real quick because I thought this was a pretty great meme.
Okay. Yeah. Like,
Why did this conversation make you think of that?
because just I wanted to show this meme.
I know, but
Yeah. Well,
It's pretty good. It is
Yeah.
a pretty good meme though.
I thought that was
Yeah.
pretty hilarious.
It's not even out yet. How do you even know? No.
hey, come on, guys, come on. Remember, we got to give it 3 seasons. 3
Yeah,
seasons.
you need
that's
3
right.
seasons before.
Yeah,
even
3
find
seasons.
out.
before you know if
Three
it's good.
shits
Yeah.
before you can decide if they're
You
shitting on your
eat-
plate or not.
Well,
3
then,
turds.
then they'll get good. That's the thing.
Yeah,
They'll
right.
still be doing it, but they'll be good ones.
Yeah.
By the third shit, you might have some corn in there or something. So
Well, by the third one, it'll finally smell like roses. You know, I mean,
Yeah.
or maybe it'll be
Crazy.
like Kopi Luwak, and then you
Or
can
that.
drink it.
No.
dude, we still need to do that.
Yes, I know.
Yes.
Kopi
I
Luwak.
literally have Kopi Luwak sitting in my Amazon
Oh
cart
my-
right now.
Are you serious?
Yes,
I am
please get
serious.
it. I will absolutely drink it.
For people
I
that
thought
don't know, they've heard this fucking rant before. Kopi Luwak is the coffee that gets shit out by like this weird cat creature in a foreign
Civets.
country.
It's so cute.
Yep, whatever the thing is called, it
Civet.
eats these beans and it can't digest them, so it shits them out. And somebody picked them up and was like, "I'm gonna boil the shit out of this and make coffee." And
that's
people
like
were
the
like,
French cheese, which like it's been digested by maggots and still got live maggots in it when they eat it. It's supposed to be
Yep, it's
really
like-
creamy.
"Maggot poop," and they're like, "Oh my gosh, this cheese is so creamy." I'm like, "It's poop."
I mean, to be fair, I do the same thing with brie. Essentially, that is
Yeah.
digested cheese by bacteria.
Look at it. It's
Yeah,
so
but at least
cute.
it's bacteria, not like maggots.
Come on,
That
Mike.
is a civet.
Yeah,
So-
the civet's cute.
Well,
Nobody's
it's like a
denying that.
rat.
But it doesn't mean I want to eat the stuff that comes out of his butthole or drink the stuff that comes out of his butthole.
Wait, he suddenly got super blurry. That was
Yeah.
weird.
He's so cute.
Yeah.
Boomer Stick, we have heard about elephant coffee. It's the same exact thing. Elephant
Yeah.
shit something out, and the guy was
I
like,
would drink.
I'm
I would
gonna
drink
drink
that too.
Mike, but
How are
you
you gonna
like
find
elephants.
the beans in an elephant
Elephants
one?
are like one of
surely
your
they're
favorite
massive.
animals.
that's what I'm saying. I don't know,
Mike,
man.
but elephants are like one of your favorite animals.
No, we're not. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
How are
That's what-
those two things related?
Are you
Oh, I really
telling
like
me
this
what
animal.
my
That's why I'm
favorite
gonna
animal
sift
is?
through its
That's what
poop.
you told me once.
I've never told you elephants
you
were my
did.
favorite. I've never said that.
Did you
I
forget?
have, no, I don't forget. I've never said that about elephants.
You are a huge fan of elephants.
No.
Yeah,
Yes,
dude,
you
Mike-
are.
Mike,
I like
every-
that you were
okay.
commanding him. You better
If
be.
you were gonna tell me I was a fan of anything, it would be like a hippo or a rhinoceros.
Okay, but like
I talk about
every
them
time
way
Mike's
more.
on the podcast, all he talks about is elephants and how much he loves them.
Yeah.
Like,
we literally they're
literally.
recorded episodes. I literally never talk about elephants.
yeah, but people now have to go listen just to make sure we're not lying.
Well, I think Mike
They
has to
already
go
know
through,
you're
listen,
lying.
and get all the clips where he's not talking about elephants to prove it.
I'm gonna literally on site. Listen,
What are you gonna do, Mike?
you're
what are
gonna
you
have
gonna
this we're gonna have knuckle coffee.
What are you
yeah.
gonna do?
You're gonna put that cup up to your mouth, and my hand's coming through the back of that cup.
You're gonna be digesting my knuckles.
Yeah, shit those out and make some coffee out of it. Oh my god,
I love
You
that.
gotta
Mike,
make me
Mike,
I'm so
I
angry.
know you are a big fan of elephants, and that's fine.
I don't know what your deal is.
I
with
don't
this
know why
elephant
you
thing.
suddenly are trying to pretend like that's not a thing, because
because it's not
It
a
is.
thing.
It
No,
is.
I don't know where this is coming from. Oh my god.
So
Oh my
speaking
fucking
of
goodness.
shitting on plates and all
What?
that stuff,
Wow.
um,
Ezra
So,
Miller. no,
Rings
What a
of Power.
segue!
Rings of Power is just
You're-
around the corner,
yes.
and
so
we need to talk about this
excited.
disaster. Ben, shut up.
Oh, dude, it's gonna be so good. It's like I know
No,
I gotta
Ben,
look-
literally shut up. Steven Yarnell, thank you for a $50 super chat. Oh my gosh, that's amazing. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Appreciate that, Steven. You are the
I'm
man.
sorry. I got
Only
to
a
point out.
true Tolkien fan would see Rings of Power as anything but Tolkien's work. You hear that, Ben? You hear
Darn.
that?
Guess I'm not a true Tolkien fan.
My
No, you-
favorite
you
part.
aren't.
My favorite part is that you took a clip of people cheering from another country. It couldn't even be like Americans cheering. You took a
You
clip
cheer
from
for
Babe.
everything, though. It means more when another country cheers. Like,
It's
America's
true.
like,
It's
yeah,
true.
burger! hooray!"
Yeah, frick,
actually is
the
fair.
plane landed. Woo!
Wait, is Babe not American?
You got to be kidding me right now. Don't do that to me. I swear to God, like if you're just trying to make me mad today, you're really, really winning this. Like you are in rare form today, right?
Wait,
Like,
why are you
just-
talking about Babe?
Because that's what that's from.
That's
the
what the
cheering.
clip is from, Ben.
Ben, have you ever seen Babe? Have you never
Like
seen Babe
one
before?
time when I was a kid.
Oh my
What is
goodness.
wrong with you? That's such a
Ben,
good
it's
movie.
a freaking classic.
Yeah,
Why
Eh,
do you hate pigs?
yeah, Ben.
I do hate pigs. They're freaking demons.
That's a question
That
I
is
have to answer
true.
very
Pigs-
often.
Pigs are actually kind of
Okay.
awful. Yeah.
No, pigs are
will
actually
mur-
pretty awesome,
Dude, pigs
and
will
they
murder
also
you.
give
Not.
us bacon. So
Pigs will murder
They
you
give-
and then eat you. They don't
Yes.
care. Yeah,
yes.
frick pigs. I hate them.
To me, everyone's like, oh, they're clean animals. Every single pig I've ever seen has been dirty. I mean,
Yeah.
like, the evidence seems to be pointing to the contrary.
See, Boomer Sick knows what's up. Pigs are
They
fine.
roll in muck. That's why they're clean.
Pigs are
What?
fine.
Yeah. They eat anything. They eat poop. But apparently,
Yeah.
you guys don't have a problem with that because if it shit out coffee beans, you drink it.
Well,
Yeah.
what do they digest? Yeah. It's like,
No.
well, you do serve them leftovers, but are those leftovers nicer after they've passed through the pig? Has anyone
no.
checked? That's all I'm saying.
Well, as I have said many times, I once had a pig that I taught how to play fetch, and it was a great time. So, literally, would throw a stick, the pig would go get it, bring it back to me, drop it at my feet, and I'd just keep doing that over and over again. So,
All day for hours.
Yep, that's right. That's all I did.
They're like,
It's like an anime intro.
it does.
And then one
it does.
day, after
Yeah.
he trains the pig, he went out full crime.
Matt W, you're absolutely right. They will eat you if they get the chance.
Yeah.
they're-
Yep.
pigs are
Yeah.
awful.
Yep. This is also a good point. Hippos will eat you too.
Dude, that's because
So-
friggin' hippos are demons too.
And they're one of the most dangerous animals on the
I
planet.
thought they were
and I-
vegetarians.
No,
They are, but they'll on-site anything that they see. They're just extremely aggressive.
Yeah. Yeah.
They like bite crocodiles in half because they feel like it. Like they just do. Yeah. Like hippos are no joke. Like they actually hurt more. They kill more people than sharks do. They are actually one of the most dangerous animals on the planet. But everybody's like, oh, it's a hippo.
No,
It was a
hippos are
madagascar,"
so
and things like-
aggressive. Like they will literally just charge you for no reason and try to
Yeah.
murder you. So
The funny part is, apparently, unless a rhino has a running start, a rhino will lose to a hippo in a fight every time.
Yeah.
Jeez, that's
See,
insane.
I saw a clip on Twitter of it was a baby hippo went up to somebody's leg with its mouth open and just
Yeah,
chomped
like,
down, and everyone was like, "Oh, that's so cute." And
No,
I
that-
thought it was vegetarian, so it wouldn't actually attack anyone. And now I know that this baby was trying to kill that person.
Yes.
And the only reason it couldn't is because it was a baby and too small.
Yes, 100%. Because they have like one of the biggest, like strongest bites in like the animal kingdom too. It's awful.
Yeah.
Yeah, and their mouth is
Insane.
like huge. They can like take a full like watermelon and just it's
just
gone, man.
chomp it. Yeah, go watch videos of hippos eating watermelons. It's crazy.
But a
What's the
watermelon
donation
isn't a
limit?
person.
I don't know.
I don't know either. I mean, if you want to,
I think it's like $500 or something. So
Wait,
I
what?
mean, you could see, you could find out.
What's
Yeah.
$500?
we won't stop you.
We can
Nothing,
find
Ben.
out
Super
together.
chat
Let's
thing,
do
they
it.
limit you per day.
Oh, yeah.
So let's get into some of this nonsense here.
Yeah.
And,
Well, real quick, I wanted to go with this story. I had a story pulled up that I
Okay.
didn't tell you guys about. I thought this was really
okay.
interesting.
All right.
So it's just specifically, I know Disbrew more than anybody and then me, knows about 40K,
Mhm.
and the lore behind 40K and stuff like that. But apparently, there's a YouTuber, his name is Archcast.
Archcast.
Archcast, yeah. So he went off the other day, and I'm actually really proud of him for it. Because YouTube or like this guy wrote an article calling out 40K and calling
What is-
for sensitivity readers because in 40K lore, all Space Marines are male, and the guy, and the guy because they're all seeded, like all Space Marines are seeded from like basically war heroes, and if you're really really special, from the Emperor of Mankind himself, and so they're all male. And this guy tried to say that they needed more sensitivity training within 40K because that was excluding trans people and the trans experience and all this stuff, and went on this huge diatribe about why all male people are problematic and that's a problem, and there should be women in the 40K world and stuff. And I'm really proud of Archcast because he flat out said, like, that is ridiculous. It is absolutely nonsense because if you're interpreting lore and understanding like a setting based on what you understand of today's society, like, you're not being creative. Like, and I don't know. It's just one of those things. We should be always supporting people that are standing up for creativity and the like protecting, like, you know, the lore of things. Because he's like, the idea of somebody being a sensitivity reader and their whole goal is to look for how to interpret something that is not meant for modern times with modern sensibilities completely removes the themes and the core identity of something like 40K. So
What is 40K?
Well, yeah,
Maybe I'm stupid, but
Warhammer.
oh, Warhammer. Okay.
It was it's one of those things where it was built by a load of other people, and then since then other people have come into the company, and now the actual company itself would love to change it. They really would, but it literally built into the foundations of what that universe is. It would not make sense to have weaker people be Space Marines. And they actually had to come out and did confirm that no, all Space Marines are male, and there was uproar about it, and they didn't want to have to do it, but they still had to keep it.
I mean, I don't know. I guess it makes me wonder. Like, people don't have a problem with, you know, other stories where like everybody is one gender, either male or female. I feel like I've never seen a bunch of. outrage about that. Like, have they had problems with Wonder Woman and like Themyscira being all women? Have they had problems with?
No, because those are all women.
Well, that's one side. Yeah, you've got to come at it from the other way. Is there any other all male
Well,
properties
I
that they
feel
don't
like-
have a problem with?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like that adds an interesting dynamic to your property when you kind of just focus on one person and see how life is, or like how their lives are just being them, instead of, you know, having everybody else there. So I've always thought that makes for interesting storytelling more than anything else. Because that's an interesting concept, because that's not what we live with. And I think that's what makes it interesting, is just because it's so different from the world we live in. To me, that makes an interesting story that like I want to hear about. But I don't know. That's the way I feel about it.
Well, that's the thing with 40k. The entire universe is trying to wipe out everything else.
Yes.
There is no negotiation. There is no nice guy. It's just pure, unadulterated evil.
Yeah,
And
right.
like, you would not, in that situation where you are literally fighting for the survival of your entire species, be going, well, you know, I think that we might have these weaker people in here to do this fighting for us, and you know, it doesn't matter if we lose. I mean, it's only literally the eradication of our entire civilization. So they didn't have any choice. And if you changed one thing, you would have a knock-on effect for everything else. And next they'd be like, well, maybe they're not actually evil. Maybe there's some good people among them, and they'd just utterly destroy every
So
single
is it
one
just a
bit by
classic
bit.
good versus evil story?
No. Everybody in 40k is
Everything's evil, basically.
evil. Because like the
everybody's
idea is
Yeah.
so years ago they introduced a faction called the Tau. This was a long time ago, and the
Yeah.
Tau were supposed to be the good guys of the setting, and they were like, "Oh, we're all about peace and love and harmony amongst everybody." And the 40k community was so angry about it. They're like, "This is bullshit. Fix it." And within the next edition, they're like, "Actually, the Tau serve the idea of the greater good, and basically, if you don't serve the greater good with them, basically they're like religious zealots, like
They
you
just
get
murder you.
destroyed and have to come in line." But like that whole concept, like the guy was saying, because and I see it a lot in the comments too, talking about the sisters, the Adeptus Sora, oh man, I cannot pronounce that correctly, Sororitas or whatever. They're like the sisters of battle. They're not space marines, but there is an entire chapter of women in the 40k setting that serve the Emperor of Mankind. They have an amazing like theme. It's like all this religious theme. They have like giant tanks that have like stained glass windows on them and everything. And it completely ignores the fact that like 40k has room for anybody to have armies that represent any kind of ideal or idea they want to go with, but nobody in the setting is good. It's not supposed to be a positive thing. And like Disbrew said, the next step would be, oh, well, you know what? There's females in the, you know, setting, and there's trans people in the setting. And so maybe they're not all bad because they're pretty open-minded about everything. And it's like, then you defeated the purpose of the story,
Right.
because the concept of 40k is everyone's a piece of shit. Nobody really wins if any side actually won. Like if all of the if mankind wiped out and eradicated all the other species in the world, it wouldn't make them good. They'd still be just as bad because they do terrible things to themselves and people within their group. Yeah. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys have any answers to this. What's a good way to get into the lore of it? I know there are some like lore YouTube channels out there. I had a buddy of mine who used to watch a couple of them. So I can't remember what the names of them are off the top of my head, but I do know there are some out there.
Warhammer is similar to like it's a tabletop game, right? Kind of like
but there's loads of books and stuff.
Yeah.
Like
Okay.
I tried to get into the book, and there's just so many.
there's so many books.
If you do Google the question, there are like numerous websites that will
Steffi-
give you.
I've
what
seen
they
people
think are the
playing
best
it. That's
entrances.
why I'm
like
like,
the,
Steffi
what
the
is the
Mad-
Horus Heresy and stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Lewitton, his channel specifically, he has a really good breakdown of like generalized lore, and he will tell you what books to go read, because he'll tell you like this is not covering even like a smidge of it. Like this Brew's absolutely right. There's so many books and
That was
there's
amazing.
so much history. It is insane. I literally watched just for the faction. I use Grey Knights just to get caught up with my faction and figure out specifically just the Grey Knights and their story. I watched like 6 hours of videos. And even with that, they were like, listen, this is just covering the bare bones of what you need to know. So
That's
there's
crazy.
a lot of
Yeah.
lore, but that's a good way to do it, is checking out his channel and then kind of figuring out where you want to go from there. So yeah.
Yep.
But absolutely, the books, like the Horus Heresy books, are amazing. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, Warhammer's always been really fascinating to me. It's really cool how they the community of Warhammer is really interesting. I have a couple friends who are kind of part of it, and they got really into it over the past couple of years. Like they went all in on the painting their own figures and everything else. Like they, one of them literally has like he basically made this entire room in his basement just dedicated to Warhammer stuff and painting and all of that stuff, and it's really cool. So
the interesting
it's
thing
pretty
about
neat.
the figures is every single person says it's incredibly relaxing. There's something about doing that action which seems to appeal to everyone that tries it.
Yeah,
Like,
that's what he said. He said it's like therapeutic. So
yeah, it's not like just painting a canvas where it's just your own imagination to come up with whatever it is. There's something specific about painting a figure and turning it into something else. I don't know.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah.
Well, I just wanted to bring that story because I thought it was interesting and I just saw it. But
Yeah.
like, you know, shout out to Archcast. We don't know him. I've never had any contact with him, but the fact is like that he's trying to maintain the integrity of a thing that he loves. And I think that that's really important. We should support people like that. If you're into 40K, go check him out, show him some love. If you're like interested in getting into 40K, even just subscribing to his channel, let him know like, hey, listen, you're trying to protect the integrity of this genre, and that's important because Games Workshop and all those companies will absolutely cave to the vocal mob if they're not reminded that their actual fans, the actual people that are spending money on this, are not interested in seeing the lore change to fit modern ideas and modern concepts, you know? So,
absolutely. Yeah. And Ben brought up the Amazons earlier, and I remembered that this was a thing when it came out, but not even the Amazons from Wonder Woman are safe anymore. So they're the woke are going after everything, and they're just going to keep on finding new ways to go after whatever they want to go after. So
yeah.
That's like that TV show that came out where, like, I think every single man on Earth died except one. And then they made a TV show and entirely changed the story. And they had to literally retcon how it all worked to make it fit. It was so bizarre.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
Well, it's just like, right, I don't know. You can write the stories that you want to tell. Like, that's the thing. But I think...
Not when you take someone else's.
Well, right. But I think a lot of people are hesitant to write the stories they want to tell. Because if they write the stories they want to tell, they might get backlash from 5 bajillion different angles. And so I think that's the most frustrating part is it's like, I think people should be able to tell whatever story they want to tell, but you don't have to change stories that are already being told. You know, you don't have to change these things to fit something that you want to get out there. And so I think that more and more people are scared to kind of tell stories they want to tell because they think they're going to come under beratement from other people because they don't have this or they don't have that. But unfortunately, you're just never going to make everybody happy.
Well, the interesting thing with these companies is they literally have lists of what you can and can't do, what has to be in your story, what the characters can do, what the interactions between them can be. And then they take somebody else's property, and now they've got to make that property fit their list of things that you can and can't say and how the characters can act between each other. And so... they will inevitably destroy everything they touch as long as they hamstring the writers by going, you must do this. Either get a writer to, like you say, do what they want to do with kind of free reign, or you'll always make trash because no one can work under those kind of restrictions.
No, it's just like, once again, write the stories that you want to write, I think, or just tell the stories that you want to tell. And don't let anybody tell you different. Unfortunately, with some of the bigger companies, you can't avoid that because they're going to have their guidelines or whatever that you have to follow. But at the end of the day, I think if you're just an independent storyteller, like, you just tell the stories you want to tell. That's the most important thing. So,
yeah.
And if that involves a world that's only men and everybody's completely evil, that's an interesting story to me. Tell that story, you know? So.
Yeah. Or thousands of them because there's so much freaking lore in that.
Right, exactly.
Well, that's the thing. The 40K universe has always been awesome to me, but I tried to get in. I just saw how many it was. It's like when you look at some animes, it's like, oh, there's only like 2,000 episodes. Like, that's a lot.
Yeah,
that's like the rest of my life.
Yeah. It's nuts. But I do think it's funny whenever they tried to introduce like more like positive like stories and stuff in 40K, everybody's like, no, this is stupid. Fix it. And then they have to go like, by the way, that was actually really bad. And they're like,
well, that's good. You know, that's exactly what we see. What we're seeing right now with the Lord of the Rings fan base as well. They're like, nah, we're not going to put up with this bullshit. You know, so the gatekeeping is not a bad thing. Sir Rushalot just made it this point as well. Not only men, just Space Marines. You know, so,
But the point of the Space Marines is like they're the most kind of elite warriors, specifically engineered to be the most elite warriors. And like, well, but this time they just decided to start from a weaker frame that just isn't as good at war. So they deliberately just made themselves worse. It just does not fundamentally make sense for the character perspective.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
100%.
Yeah, totally. So thanks for bringing that up, Mike. That was good stuff.
Yeah.
So,
you're welcome after what you just put me through earlier.
I'm looking forward to Dark Tide, though. The 40k game coming out, which is going to be like the Vermintide 40k.
Is that like a
Ooh, that'll be fun.
Because with Vermintide, I wished it was 40k to begin with. So for me, they're kind of coming out with the game that I wanted originally.
I've always wanted to try Vermintide. It looks really cool.
What is that?
It
is
is
that a video
fun.
game or a board game?
It's a video game.
I wanted it be a bit more ranged, like Left 4 Dead, rather than all melee. So I'm hoping the 40k one is more ranged.
Right.
Yeah, it's like co-op wave defense.
Yeah,
like Left 4 Dead 2.
Yep. I enjoy wave based games and stuff. So that
it's probably one of my favorite genres for like co-op. I've always been into them.
Dude, it's so much fun to play with other people doing that.
Yeah, absolutely. Yep. Loads of hours playing that on Call of Duty Zombies and stuff. So
yeah.
Like literally like 2 months of my life have gone into Black Ops 3 Zombies. So
that's how I first grew a beard. I just sat in a chair for 2 months and didn't move. I was like, this actually suits me. I'm gonna keep it.
Now a lot of those hours were spent with friends and my wife and stuff. So it was you know.
Yeah. Facts. We used to play Call of Duty Zombies every Friday night.
Oh man. Yeah, way into the wee hours of the early morning, Saturday morning. So
that was those were fun times.
Yeah.
Nice.
Fun times.
So you know what isn't fun times?
Oh jeez.
She-Hulk. I don't know.
I was gonna say there's a
anything
lot
going
of
on the next 2 months could be awful.
Lord of the Rings, The Rings of Power. Showrunner admits intention of show was to do something different but familiar. Whatever the hell that's supposed to mean.
See, I don't necessarily have a problem with that phrasing, but I know the way they mean it is terrible. Like, okay,
what does that even mean?
Like, you don't want to do something that's exactly the same because then people are going to think you're like doing like a weird soft reboot. But you also want it to be familiar, so but you also want to like. I'm not giving them credit for this. I'm more saying that I don't have a problem with that phrase, but the way that they're using it, I don't think it means what they think it means. If that makes sense.
And that's exactly why they're using it. They're using language which other people can point to and go, well, it could be be taken this way. It's not bad on it. So that literally is why they use that kind of thing.
Yes, but
that's why they keep going, oh no, we're really respecting the law. Everyone's like, no, you aren't. I can prove it. It's like, well, actually, the showrunner said.
Yeah.
So it's like I don't have a problem with that phrasing, but I know the creators of the show are obviously using that in the incorrect way. And there's probably a lot more different about it. And, I don't know. We'll see how familiar it actually is.
Yeah.
We'll find out.
There's literally an interview where there's loads of the cast on, like, sofas and stuff. And the interviewer goes, well, you're all playing different characters. We don't know who you are. And I was like, not a single one of them is from the text. We don't know who any of you are. It's like, oh, no, the penny just dropped.
Yeah.
Yeah, and this whole the whole story about when they were at the Comic-Con and then they kind of were talking about the Harfoots and the Hobbits and everything else. And
I hate that quote you just paused on. We felt we had license there to tell a good Harfoot story. Yeah, it's like, well, they didn't say that Harfoots didn't do anything in this, so we felt we had the license to. Like, I want Oreos in, I want Iron Man to come in and start saving the day. None of these were mentioned in Tolkien, so, he didn't say Iron Man didn't come in and destroy the One Ring on his own, so he probably did, let's be honest.
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
True.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, there was something else like one of the they talk about they talk about Rings of Power so much like that. Like I felt this was our interpretation, all of these different things, which is completely different than the viewpoint of Peter Jackson when he was making Lord of the Rings. He was looking at it more from like, okay, what can we do that's honoring Tolkien, that isn't putting our own politics, our own worldviews into all of this, but it's just such a stark difference to what they're doing now with Rings of Power. It's insane.
Well, yeah, and they're managing to interpret it so that Galadriel is in a place she never was, doing things she never did, meeting people she never saw, who aren't even the people they originally were in the books. So, like, how much are you actually going to interpret at that point?
Yeah.
No, we just rewrote it, is essentially the interpretation.
Absolutely. Yep.
Like, you could understand if they had, you know, like, oh, well, we don't have access to the stuff, but the 5% that we have access to is at least correct. They don't even have that. They're just, it's like, have you ever gone on like a spending spree or something? Like, well, you know, or you've just eaten so much, like, I might as well. I've already gone this far. The next little bit, it's not going to do anything worse than I've already done. And that's how I feel with this. Like, they already destroyed 95% of it. And like, we might as well go the 5% as well. Like, it's not going to get any worse.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yep. I don't know, man. It's pretty insane. And then the hilarious thing about all of this is that the creators now are suddenly taking great offense to people saying that it's vaguely what do they say? Vaguely connected to J.R.R. Tolkien's writings. Suddenly, apparently, the showrunners are not happy about that. The Rings of Power is deeply rooted in Tolkien mythology, the creators say, suddenly, out of nowhere, after months and months of them doing all of these things where they're, you know, literally confirming to us that they're deviating from everything that's Tolkien. Now, suddenly, it's deeply rooted in Tolkien mythology, which is interesting. That, you know, with all of the backlash that they've received for Rings of Power, suddenly the narrative's changed a little bit. Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. So this is something that they were doing in like some sort of let's see here. Payne and McKay, who are the showrunners, the producers for it, recently addressed the criticisms at the Television Critics Association semi-annual press tour when a reporter called The Rings of Power only vaguely connected to Tolkien's writings compared to Peter Jackson's Lord of the Rings trilogy, which was based on actual printed materials. Patrick McKay replied,
I just want to sort of quibble with the vaguely connected. We don't feel that way. We feel like deep roots of the show are in the books and in Tolkien. And if we didn't feel that way, we'd all be terrified to sit up here, which is bullshit. You know, that's bullshit.
But like, even what he's saying, we don't feel that way. Once again, it's not, listen, what you think about the show, like that's not accurate. It's, well, I don't feel like it's not deeply rooted, and so therefore your opinion is invalid. That doesn't even address the actual concern. It just says like, well, I feel like it's good enough, so that's why I'm up here today. It's like you'd be up here because the person that signs your checks is making you talk about the show, not because you're like, oh, I only came up here because I feel like it's good enough. Like, you wouldn't even address
that entire thing. The amount of times he says feel in that one paragraph is insane. And it is literally a case of, like, reality doesn't require you to agree with it. Other people have exact examples of what you've changed, what you've done, and what you've damaged. And you're like, well, I feel that you're wrong. It's like, it doesn't matter. I don't want to quote Ben Shapiro, but come on. It's like it's the perfect example.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, this is, I mean, you can tell, even just the way that he's talking here, a lot of it's just based on, you know, woke millennial type of thinkings and things like that. It's all about the feelings, and it's not about actual facts, or it's not even about, you know, what the actual lore is or anything like that. It's all about what the creators feel they should do.
Well, the fact is, too, if they had just had announced this is not canon, like this is just its own thing, like there's no connection to anything, we're just using Lord of the Rings as a vehicle to tell new stories, then they know that most Tolkien purists wouldn't watch this and would be immediately turned off to it. And then the only people that would watch this would be like casual fans or people that don't know any better. But that's not what they said. They went like, they're trying to like play to both sides and be like, oh yeah, no, totally, this is for Tolkien purists and hardcore fans. And also not, because we also changed everything. It's like, they constantly waffle back and forth, but then in a lot of these interviews, they're constantly telling themselves about how little it's actually connected.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah, and one of the actresses literally said, "This is a necessary redress of balance. We're accepting where we came from, and this is a statement about where we need to be." And so, in other words, all of his books were in a place where they shouldn't have been. They were wrong, and we need to change them because now we have to move into somewhere different because they were in a horrible place. Like, she's literally just crapping on her entire job. And just because, no, we need to take what it was and we need to improve it because it was from a past that we shouldn't really talk about, is essentially what the act. And people are going, well, it's just the actors. She said that for weeks at this point. She's getting worse.
Yeah.
Like,
Yep. And this ties in completely with all of that as well. Let me pull up this as well here. This is coming from what's her face? Lindsay Weber, who is the producer for Rings of Power. And this is a quote from her. "It felt only natural to us that an adaptation of Tolkien's work would reflect what the world actually looks like. Tolkien is for everyone. His stories are about his fictional races doing their best work when they leave the isolation of their own cultures and come together."
Yeah.
And then she continues on and she says, "Obviously there was going to be push and backlash, but the question is from whom? Who are these people that feel so threatened or disgusted by the idea that an elf is black, Latino, or Asian?" Which this whole is just insane in itself. Like, elves aren't black, Latino, or Asian. They're not they're none
They're
of those
elves.
things. They're freaking elves, people.
Yeah.
look, they were born under the stars. I mean, obviously there'd be a wide variety. Like, sun didn't exist at this time when they were created. It wasn't even in the universe.
Yeah. But that once again, that's that they can't see a world where, like, when you say race, like an elf is can be anything to them, not the fact that an elf is a completely different species than a human. So if they're like all looking the same, it's because that's what their race looks like. Like, that's like saying, like, well, that penguin could be black on the inside just because they all look like they're just because they're all black and white. Like, but they really could be any race. I mean, you don't know. It's like, you just attributed a very human trait that is not even in Tolkien's works, because there is no, like, Latin community. There is no, like, black community in Tolkien's works. That doesn't make any sense. He has races of people and different races of men even that come from different places in the world. So, like, you're not even using those terminologies. It's so...
Yes.
Well, it kind of shows how the word race itself has changed. Because when we use it, we're still talking about humans. Where in this, it's like, it more means like an entirely different species. Like, you can't even compare elves to humans. So even trying to do it is stupid in the first place. Elves shouldn't look like our world at all because they don't physically exist in them. Oh,
yep,
absolutely.
And I think that's why, like, even like with Rings of Power, how it's such a different backlash than what we got with the Shadow of War game that came out a few years ago. Because in that you have a black Gondorian who's actually from Harad, but he was then brought into basically the fold of Gondor and stuff and everything else. He basically dissented. And so there's like all that as a story, but that was still like a man. That was still like a human character that was in that story who was, racially different than what you typically saw from the Gondorians. And nobody really had a problem with that because that made sense. They still made it applicable to what the lore and the history and geography of Tolkien's world was. In this, they're just like slapping, races wherever they want on whoever they want on all these different types of actual races, people who are not human and stuff like that. And it just doesn't make any sense whatsoever. It's ridiculous. So
also, I think they could have managed the backlash. Like Halo, for however terrible it was, at least they came out and said it was a different timeline. So you can write it off and like, well, it's not meant to be canon anyway. The games, nobody really expected those to be canon and thought of them as... You could probably ask the developers, they'd be like, nah, of course they're not. And even like Wheel of Time, it was well, it hasn't even made the books or anything, but nobody came out and spoke it was canon or said, oh, Robert Jordan really would have wanted this to be what he actually wrote and stuff. It's
Right.
the fact that they are so desperate to make it canon and part of the unit, like they deliberately set it in a place where they can write it and then go, no, it's real talk, because they want an entire universe to come out from this and want spin-offs and series all over the place, so they have to make it canon, they have to make people care about it.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's why they've gone so hardcore, and that is what's backfired. What they should have done, if they'd done something that really stuck to it first, and they got people on board, people probably would have been like, well, okay, you've proved you can make something good and quality. And then they'd give them a bit more, like, leniency with everything else, because they're like, well, this is, the last thing was awesome, so, we'll see what they can do on their own kind of original stuff. But they've just gone so hardcore right off the bat.
Oh yeah, like in the very first thing that we ever got from Rings of Power, the showrunners were talking about how they wanted to make this as the novel that Tolkien ever wrote, which it's just such an insane thing to say.
Yeah.
So this is who on the panel is planning to watch it other than Disbrew? I think we're all planning.
I think we're all watching it. Yeah.
So
I think the show's going to be so massive for at least the first few. I think pretty much everyone will.
Yeah.
It's like one of the biggest things in television in like maybe forever. It's like
it is.
You are talking like everyone used to watch Game of Thrones. It's going to be the same.
It is a
it'll probably drop
television
off, but the
event.
premiere.
Like, it is absolutely an event, I think, for people.
Well,
the first episode is going to just be like
it's
the
gonna be
numbers are going to
ridiculous.
be huge.
Yeah, well, that's
So-
the thing is, like like Disprue said, like Game of Thrones is kind of the biggest thing we had, so it's
Yeah.
going to be comparable at least to Game of Thrones. But the fact is, like Lord of the Rings has a much bigger audience of people who haven't gotten anything but movies up till now. So like this is like a whole nother precedent,
Right.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
I think we're all watching it.
Yeah, but Disprue is gonna make the most killer videos on it, and that's what really everybody's here for. So
That's the other side of it as well, because like so many people have Amazon Prime, like they will just be like, well, I might as well. I'm not giving them more money. It's not like, at least if it's like Disney Plus, you're like, well, I've got to subscribe, and I don't know whether I can be bothered. And so there's a kind of thing there. But when you're already subscribed for something else,
like with Prime, like you can use it for your 2-day shipping, and then you happen to get Prime Video. So
we
like-
get it next
this,
day and stuff. So it's
are they doing the thing with like The Boys where they release like the
Yes.
first 3 episodes?
Oh, I don't know. They haven't really
Well, I
even
think
announced how many
I
episodes.
think
they're
it's
releasing.
just weekly, but yeah, I don't know. Is it gonna be? It's gonna be hour-long episodes, I assume, right? Like 56 minutes.
they have announced run time. Well, the entire 5 series has got to cover 50 hours, and there's going to be 5 seasons.
Yeah.
Now the thing is, I think there's only going to be 8 episodes, so some of them might be a bit long.
A little longer than an hour.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's it called? Real quick. One of the comments from Floki the Matt said, possible explanation for the skin, possible crossbreeding between races. Don't give a fuck about Rings of Power. Let me see here.
He's just saying like humans crossbreeding with like elves or something.
that
But no,
wouldn't work.
they tried to justify it by saying that he is a dark elf from I don't remember what the name of it is. Even though the dark elves were all described as having fair skin too, and had nothing to do
Sylvan
with-
elves.
Sylvan elves, yeah.
Sylvan
They
elves.
were not described as having dark skin.
No,
But that's what
no.
they justified in the beginning. That's immediately what they said was,
Yep.
well, the dark elf could be interpreted like they have dark skin, right? 'Cause
Yeah.
it said dark. So dark
Well,
must be
Which literally has
it-
nothing at all to do with it. And Tolkien literally says that himself. He explains why they're called the Dark Elves, and it was because they didn't behold the light from the trees of Valinor or whatever. And so that's the reason why they're called Dark Elves. And it
But my
literally has
favorite
nothing
thing
to
is
do with the skin color.
these people with all their diversity and inclusivity were like, we heard dark and immediately assumed they probably have black
Oh, yeah.
skin. Yeah.
Well, and it's like
It's not true in D&D either.
the thing
It's
is
true.
for Tolkien's work is his work isn't completely void of people of color though. Like, but I feel like people don't really see. They think that everybody in Tolkien's work is completely like white or whatever. But I think that they just don't care to see that it's not.
Well,
just
Well,
like
the thing is that nobody is keeping in mind is that Tolkien literally wrote Lord of the Rings and the Legendarium and everything as the mythology for England. That is literally why he wrote all of that, and so you have to keep that in mind when you're dealing
He
with
even
that, and,
specifically says in one of his letters, "Not Italy."
Yeah,
It's like,
yeah,
he's like,
exactly.
Europe, and it's
Yeah.
like, yeah, but not Italy.
yeah. So you have to keep all of that geographical stuff in mind as well.
Yeah,
with
well, that's
people,
the biggest
so.
thing. Like Middle Earth is a world. It's not just like
a made up world, right?
But the idea was to give like a story for like his like where he lived and like to his people, and to give them like I can't remember the word terminology he used, but yeah, like that was for like people like of England and the UK to like read and be like, oh, this is like our lore, this is like our like something for us. And then people are like, now the argument is, well, like, why can't I be included in that? Like, well, isn't there other people like me in that world? And it's like, okay, but you also you have like stories, like Ripa said this on Tuesday Night's Main Event, like there is a wealth, like a treasure trove of like stories like in Africa, like in African legends and lore, and it's in every culture. There's been stories and lore and made up in mythologies and everything that you guys could tap into, but they're not interested in that. What they want to do is take something that somebody else did because it's popular, because somebody else already did all the legwork for them, and then take that and inject their own ideas into it. It's like, you don't need to see yourself represented in Eastern European mythology. You have wherever your culture's from. If you're in America, we have mythology and lore in America that you can tap into. But they're not interested in that. They're like, nah. I'd rather take something from another country that has nothing to do with me and insert my own ideas into it, and
because they want to inject their politics into everything. It doesn't matter.
The thing that I keep coming back to is it just all seems like bait. And I think Halo did this as well. They advertised him taking off his helmet so that all the drama was about his helmet. And then even in their own website, they like brought up the drama about the helmet in the first episode. And meanwhile, I'm sitting here like, that's the minor part of the episode. It's trash. Why is everyone talking about his helmet? And in this, you've got Deezer going around who in the marketing is pushed more than like Galadriel is. She's done way more interviews and stuff that I've seen. And yet she's barely in the show. So they've pushed her forward to cause a load of drama, to try and attract a load of attention. I think literally so that nobody focuses on anything else. I can't think of another reason why you would have someone, especially from England, going around saying, oh, well, when I sing, it's about the history of our ancestors. I'm like, your ancestors never struggled. You've been in England, love. There has been no trouble over here at all. I don't even know what you're talking about. So it's like she's literally been fed lines that there's no way she came to on her own. It just doesn't make sense from our point of view. And I can only think it's just like everyone's talking about this rather than them actually going and changing and destroying other stuff. It's easy bait. And I always wonder if it's just too easy.
Yeah. Well, and I it's one of the things I really appreciate about you, Disper, is that like we all live in America, so we only have American history to go by because that's what we were raised and brought up on. And we can like study history from other countries, but it's different when you lived there, you grew up there, and you're in the culture. So like sometimes hearing like one of the things like about The Boys that I loved is how like your criticism of it wasn't even like, oh, is like, this is all American politics, and it doesn't interest me because I'm not American. I don't give a like to hear somebody be like, I don't give a shit about Trump because he's not my president. He has no real effect on me. Is like it's a really great take because somebody else, most people in America will immediately be like, well, you're a Trump supporter, and you're like,
no, they weren't. There's comments under that same video where I say that, calling me a Trump supporter.
Yeah, and you're like
the one literally said, "You Trump people just don't understand that this show took the piss out of you." I'm like, I just said in the actual thing because I saw that coming a mile off, and I deliberately put it in the video.
Yeah, of course.
So it's just the concept of like, hey, I'm not even from your country. I'm just frustrated because this story feels very limited to American politics or American ideologies, and that should be something that's being called out because Lord of the Rings is not American. It is. It should not be.
This will be.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. That's it. Like and that's the frustrating part. Or to hear like him call out somebody like Disa or whatever her name is. I don't.
He's nuts.
Yeah, and her using like very American terminologies for like her representing like black people in this group is like, that's not a thing over here. So like, no, what are you doing? Yeah.
There's actually, I can't remember the exact quote, but it's something like the air of England is too pure for a slave to breathe. The entire point, like the foundation principle was, the moment you step on this country, you're free. That's always been one of the principles. And this is like, you've got the Constitution over there, but if you actually look at it, nearly all the Constitution was taken from English common law. It's in all the books, even word for word. You just took the bits that you liked and said, these are now our foundational things. And so, like, whether we followed the principles or not, these base ideas, and we, like, it is such an American idea that's even a problem, because they've tried to use it over here. It's like, yeah, but essentially it was a trading company. It was never England itself that was involved in it. So it's never been our, like, original sin of an idea, and that's what it did. And Lenny Henry did the same thing. Lenny Henry, my entire life, has been a major comedian on the telly when I was a kid, and he came along and gone, oh, I was so hard done by in television, oh, I don't know how I came through, everyone judged me. Like, what? You were there in, like, the 80s. What are you talking about?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's true. I mean, and that's one of the things, like, with America, like, that's kind of what America is known for, is being, like, you know, giant melting pot and all of that stuff, which is, you know, which is a good thing, but unfortunately a lot of that has been hijacked and then used to push a lot of radical political ideologies into all sorts of stuff, because, well, you know, that somebody brought it up in the chat, Yuri Bezmenov, and what he was talking about with destabilization and the subversion that Bezmenov was talking about in his interview, which Ben, have you ever listened to Yuri Bezmenov's interview before?
I have not.
I remember when COD put it in their trailer. I was amazed. I
like,
can't believe you've done this. I don't think they understood what they'd done.
No, I don't think so. Yeah,
especially when they had to edit out a scene because someone complained.
Yeah, what? Who is it?
Yuri Bezmenov was a KGB defector who basically talked about, like, the communist tactics that are used to basically supplant a country and overturn it, basically. So he was talking about like the different things that they are using against, like, America and things like that, and how, you know, basically communism is, like, full on attacking America and they want to overturn it, and America is one of the last countries that doesn't really have a lot of the communism stuff, at least, well, I can't really say that now these days, unfortunately, but that was kind of the idea.
You mean Eastern Europe? Europe, they lived under it. So there's living memory of people, and like, no.
Yeah, Eastern Europe is so based. I love it.
But the idea that, like, if we can push this ideology, it'll destroy the very thing that is the antithesis of why this country works the way it does, because you have to have a blend. Like, the fact is, like, different ideas and different concepts. But if you make you slowly seed the same ideas and everybody starts to agree the same way, then you can push them into anything, because they just all go with each other. Like, it's why, you know, people make.
Did we watch some of the Yuri Bezmenov interview?
I mean, we could.
I can pull it up.
If it's not going to get you in trouble, that's fine.
I don't think so. Go ahead, Mike.
But, like, the idea of, like, the mob mentality and why, you know, like, people make jokes about NPCs and people go, oh, that's well, the idea is that when you have an entire group of people that all say the same exact thing and have the same exact talking points, they'll go along with anything as long as everybody constantly knows that that's, like, the current idea that we should be going with. And so they knew that if they seeded certain concepts, that it would push everybody in the same, like, ideological, like, functions. And then once you get them there, then they'll attack anybody that isn't part of that ideology. So
the NPC meme is, like, I think it's one of the most interesting memes that's come out, because everybody recognized it as true, including them, which is why they got so annoyed by it.
Yeah.
And everyone's had the conversation where you find one person's opinion, and then you have a conversation, and they literally hit every single talking point in order. It's like, oh, I shouldn't know your arguments before you make them.
Yeah, exactly.
Mr. Bezmenov was born in 1939 in a suburb of Moscow. He was the son of a high-ranking Soviet Army officer. He was educated in the elite schools inside the Soviet Union and became an expert in Indian culture and Indian languages. He had an outstanding career with Novosti, which was and still is, I should say, the press arm or the press agency of the Soviet Union. It turns out that this is also a front for the KGB. He escaped to the West in 1970 after becoming totally disgusted with the Soviet system, and he did this at great risk to his life. He certainly is one of the world's outstanding experts on the subject of Soviet propaganda and disinformation and active measures. Well, you spoke several times before about ideological subversion. That is a phrase that I'm afraid some Americans don't fully understand. When the Soviets use the phrase ideological subversion, what do they mean by it?
Ideological subversion is the slow process which we call either ideological subversion or active measures, активные мероприятия in the language of the KGB, or psychological warfare. What it basically means is to change the perception of reality of every American to such an extent that despite of the abundance of information, no one is able to come to sensible conclusions in the interests of defending themselves, their families, their community, and their country. It's a great brainwashing process which goes very slow, and it's divided in 4 basic stages. The first one being demoralization. It takes from 15 to 20 years to demoralize a nation. Why that many years? Because this is the minimum number of years which requires to educate one generation of students in the country of your enemy, exposed to the ideology of the enemy. In other words, Marxism-Leninism ideology is being pumped into the soft heads of at least 3 generations of American students without being challenged or counterbalanced by the basic values of Americanism, American patriotism. The demoralization process in the United States is basically completed already. For the last 25 years, actually it's overfulfilled, because demoralization now reaches such areas where previously not even Comrade Andropov and all his experts would even dream of such a tremendous success. Most of it is done by Americans to Americans, thanks to lack of moral standards. As I mentioned before, exposure to true information does not.
Thanks to a lack of moral standards. That's a great point.
What,
That's a really
like
good
I say,
point.
Like, well, morals are only upheld by shame and people around you. People will do whatever they can if you tell them that that is good. And every single time you get anything where it's like, well, I want to do this. It's like, yeah, but should you? Like, you can do this in the privacy of your own home, but should you really be doing it in the street? Should you be proud of it? Should you actually go out and start telling everyone that, I enjoy, going out and destroying as many different works of fiction as I can? Should the response to actually taking Tolkien's work and obliterating its story be massive amounts of shame from everyone he ever talks to? If he knew that there was a response, would Amazon even dare to do it? But since the 90s, there's literally been, don't judge people, don't shame people. And my question's always been why. There's some things have never made sense to me since a kid, and as I got older, I was just like, yeah, I'm just going to do it anyway.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Mike.
Well, I was just gonna say, I mean, it's one of those things. Like, I don't know if you want to finish the full interview or not, because it kind of ties into one of the other stories we have kind of sitting back here.
Yeah,
I think.
I kind of wanted to. We can jump ahead a little bit and then watch.
Okay.
Crashes his balls, then he will understand, but not before that. That's with documents, with pictures. Even if I take him by force to the Soviet Union and show him concentration camp, he will refuse to believe it until he is going to receive a kick in his fat bottom. When a military boot crashes his balls, then he will understand, but not before that. That's the tragic of the situation of demoralization. The next stage is destabilization. This time, subverter does not care about your ideas and the patterns of your consumption. Whether you eat junk food and get fat and flabby, doesn't matter anymore. This time, and it takes only from 2
which is literally being encouraged in our country right now. So
to 5 years to destabilize a nation. It's what matters is essentials: economy, foreign relations, defense systems. And you can see it quite clearly that in some areas, in such sensitive areas as defense and economy, the influence of Marxist-Leninist ideas in the United States is absolutely fantastic. I could never believe it 14 years ago when I landed in this part of the world that the process will go that fast. The next stage, of course, is crisis. It may take only up to 6 weeks to bring a country to the verge of crisis. You can see it in Central America now. And after crisis, with a violent change of power, structure, and economy, you have so-called the period of normalization. It may last indefinitely. Normalization is a cynical expression borrowed from Soviet propaganda. When the Soviet tanks moved into Czechoslovakia in '68, Comrade Brezhnev said, now the situation in brotherly Czechoslovakia is normalized. This is what will happen in the United States if you allow all these schmucks to bring the country to crisis, to promise people all kind of goodies and the paradise on earth, to destabilize your economy, to eliminate the principle of free market competition, and to put a big brother government in Washington, D.C., with benevolent dictators like Walter Mondale, who will promise lots of things, never mind whether the promises are fulfillable or not. Your leftists in United States, all these professors and all these beautiful civil rights defenders, they are instrumental in the process of the subversion only to destabilize the nation. When their job is completed, they are not needed anymore. They know too much. Some of them, when they get disillusioned, when they see that Marxist-Leninists come to power, obviously they get offended. They think that they will come to power. That will never happen, of course. They will be lined up against the wall and shot. But they may turn into the most bitter enemies of Marxist-Leninists when they come to power. And that's what happened in Nicaragua. You remember most of these former Marxist-Leninists were either put...
So anyway, there's a lot that was kind of like cut out between all of that too and everything, but it's super fascinating, and I definitely encourage everyone to go check it out at some point.
Absolutely.
So yeah, really good stuff.
But I mean, we're the guys basically spelling out how they're going to do it, and then we're all sitting there going, "Cool." So we're gonna go yell at them again about doing the very thing that we, I mean, it's immediately like you can literally, like he said, you could like spell it right out to them, and they don't get it. Like, if they don't, they don't want to get it. And I think that the whole thing he said about like the swift kick in the pants kind of comes back to that like idea of like shame and being like, why are you not shaming people that are acting in a way that is obviously like not like helpful to society? To say like, no, that's stupid. Like, I mean, that's why like Ripa, Jeremy, a lot of these guys, like the idea is mock and shame, because like you should be mocking these people, because once you start making fun of them and they, like it exposes how ridiculous the whole thing is. But then, it just kind of tied into something that I know the chat's been mentioning it a little bit too, is a little somebody we've all been hearing a lot about recently. I don't know if you guys know this guy or not. Mr.
Our man's
Miller
back.
Himself. He's back. The Menace is back.
Hold on. I want to get to this super chat real quick from Mr. Reborn as well. Thank you so much for that super chat. I appreciate that. I don't know what the DKK is.
That's Crone.
Yeah, Danish Crone, probably.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
No African myth, because that in itself would be colonization, and it's only okay to F with Western and European myths. Read Marxist theory, get wise. Which
he's actually right. Over here, there was a story where I think it was either one of our celebrities or an MP went over to Africa to try and raise money to like feed the hungry and stuff, and was pictured with a little kid. Was like trying to raise money for it, and one of our MPs, the members of Parliament, came out and said, "This is just a colonizer going over there to try and like literally trying to raise money for helping them." And it says, "No, this is just more of the colonization. We don't need your help." I was like, incredible the kind of attitude. But that is literally what they said. All you're doing is just mining it for money. Would it be out immediately?
Wow. Yep. So I mean, it reminds me a lot of like all the silly things that we do here in the US now with like, removing anybody who is a minority from any label or anything like that. Like they did that with like Land O'Lakes. They removed the Native American check who's on that label. And they did it with Aunt Jemima and all sorts of things like that. Like, it's like eradicate the black people on all of the labels. And it's just like,
and then the only guy left is a Quaker Oats guy, the white dude.
I shall not fall.
Yeah. Well, my favorite part was
like 300.
Well, somebody mentioned that too. Like, you basically, like the whole Land O'Lakes butter or whatever, you remove the Native American woman on it, but you're like, but we're keeping the butter. Like, we're not gonna, like, we took that land from them anyways, and now they don't even get to be represented on it. Nope. It's our land anyways. We took it from them in the first place. Yeah.
I remember the Aunt Jemima, though, because that was based on a real person, and the family of the real person got pissed because they liked it. And so it's like, you don't even consult the people. This is like what I said earlier. It doesn't matter what the person that's actually involved matters. It's only that somebody else got offended, and they said, well, I feel offended, therefore you must do this. And that's what it gets me, when it's like, oh, no, you shouldn't judge people. That's what all of this is based on. It is somebody judge. You shouldn't do this because I'm offended. And it's like, no, I think I will, though.
This meme sums it up perfectly.
Yep.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Yep. But it's okay now because it's woke, so it's okay.
Yeah. Well, it's not offending the people that weren't offended in the first place.
Yes, exactly. So it's all just ridiculous.
Well,
so
what's funny though is, go ahead.
Can you imagine if you took a movie trailer like Prey, and you just did that to the movie trailer and just like popped out other people? They would, the uproar would be next level, and that's exactly what happened there.
Yeah, that only showed the French colonists, the French people, and the Predator.
Everyone else should have been photoshopped out. like, it is literally a case of now actions don't matter. They were like, well, who did it? And then they'll find out if the person's on their side, and if it's their side, then it's fine. That's a good thing to do. And if it's the others, well, it's the most horrific thing that's ever been done. I can't believe you've done that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where's all the representation?
There's a lot of double standards.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So yeah, real quick though. Yeah. So this it only matters that you don't offend the wrong people. Because if you go around assaulting people and robbing people and beating the hell out of women with whatever you can and being accused of grooming children and illegal gun owner,
it's all fine. It's all fine.
It's all fine if you have they them pronouns, wear a dress, and probably, but maybe possibly allude to couch casting to get where you got because you're a superhero. Despite having at the time already faced a string of arrests, underage grooming accusations, and a search by law enforcement in order to serve them a protective order, a new report has revealed that the Flash star, Ezra Miller, has been spending parts of the summer shooting additional photography for the upcoming DC film.
I didn't know that bit.
According to an August 9th report from the Hollywood Reporter, Miller was taking part in regularly scheduled film shoots until at least the actor's August 7th arrest on charges of felony burglary. Literally, we've seen people, actors, producers, things, and somebody said, he touched my boobie 25 years ago, and they're like, fired, lost the job. We've watched somebody literally go, I think he voted for Trump, fired. Yes. We've watched somebody go, hey, man, I saw a forum post that you did from an alt account, and I tracked it back to you, and you said one time that you liked Trump over Hillary, fired. But yet, Ezra Miller is running around committing crimes like it's his day
left
job.
And right.
He's literally moving around the world committing crimes like
he's literally being a supervillain. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
And he still got a job.
Yep.
And wasn't there a story of like the police are hunting for him and they can't find him?
Yeah.
He was on set. You could have gone to Hollywood.
He literally looked at the camera at one of his videos on his Twitter before he deleted it and said, "Come find me, if you can."
Just a cameraman in the background.
Yeah, he's popping up at weddings and all sorts of things.
Jeez, there's videos on TikTok of him at weddings, and people are like, "Oh my god, is he gonna kill me?" Like, yeah.
I mean, I was amazed on that first video. I think it was the first video I saw where he literally grabs someone by the throat, picks them up, and then lobs them to the ground. Yeah, like, he's done. Just for that alone, no.
Yeah,
no, it doesn't matter.
That was the very first little catalyst we got of him, and it's just been completely downhill since then. But apparently, none of it matters. So,
apparently not.
It's insane.
Well, it's funny because Warner Brothers came out and basically said, yeah, we're still gonna fucking release this movie. Like,
Yeah.
we believe in it. We believe
my
in this project.
My favorite part about this is the whole Hollywood narrative of like, well, we need to believe people and support people and support inclusion and diversity. And like, I'm not even arguing the merits of the movie, but they canceled Batgirl with zero controversy. But they're like, this fucking movie's going out whether you like it or not. And they're like, yeah, but Ezra Miller's like a criminal. And they're like, don't worry,
Doesn't
he's
matter.
still shooting right now. The only reason we stopped shooting with him is because he got arrested, not because he shouldn't be doing, because he's an active criminal. No, that doesn't matter.
Like, I don't
Yeah.
It's like,
understand.
yeah,
Like,
he assaulted
any-
someone on the set, and the police came, and we just filmed it, and we're gonna put it in the movie. It's like we couldn't waste this moment.
I don't understand, like, anybody else. If they did like one or two of those things, it would be game over. And they probably would have never even finished shooting the movie. But for some reason, Ezra Miller has just evaded it over and over again.
Like the Flash. He's
Yep.
living the word. He's like, you can't touch me because I'm too fast.
Can't even run, but he's
My
like
favorite-
genuine.
Yeah, my favorite part about it too is like he's playing multiple characters. Like you can see in this, he's playing multiple characters in his own film, and they're like, "Dude, we're tripling down on this." This Ezra Miller thing. You know what? It wasn't that Ezra Miller; it was the other Ezra Miller. We fired him already. Yeah, man.
Yeah, and then this came out just a couple days ago too, which I thought was kind of interesting. So the Flash is apparently testing great in its screen testing. With I don't know, secret audiences.
Well, no, I mean, like, I don't even think the movie's gonna be
Hollywood
awful.
directors.
I just can't believe it's even made it as far as it has with all this crap happening. Like, it's just like it's unbelievable to me. Like, I don't know. Like, I just can't. It's just ridiculous. It's absurd. Like, this seems like something that would be in like a cartoon because it's so wacky.
Yeah,
but it's like real life.
Yeah,
it's like, what?
Like this is like an episode of South Park where like a guy just keeps like committing like heinous crimes,
Like,
and they're like,
what
"Yeah, well, we're not going
happened?
to cancel him. What do you think we're going to cancel him? Come on, now we got to stand by these people." And then
Just-
they're like, "Hey,
Just arrest
you made
him.
it." Yeah, they're like, "Kevin Hart, you made a bad tweet like 15 years ago that you already apologized for. Apologize again." He goes, "No," and they're like, "Fire him right now! Fire that black man! He can't host the Oscars!" And Ezra Miller's like, "I beat women on a regular and hit people in the head with chairs," and they're like, "Oh, that's fine."
I strangle
get back to
women
work?
too. Yeah, don't forget the
I
woman he
know-
strangled.
Yeah.
I know Five Nights at Freddy's. I think he got yeeted off his own game because they found out he donated to like Trump. And then you had Disney. They got in trouble because they donated to one the bill, and people were like, well, they also donated against the bill. That's just what everyone does. They just donate on both sides because they don't know who's going to win. And that alone is enough to get like major uproar. But you know, actually go and do something, and suddenly it's almost like you know, if you go to a fire inspector, they go really over the top. They're like, there's fire everywhere, the seats might burn, you need sand and buckets of water and fire alarms and 3 different exits. And then they go to a gas station and it's just like too much for their brain. It's just a fire everywhere, so just a bucket of sand. That's the fire safety there. Just there's just too much for me to handle. And that's what Ezra Miller is. He's just done so much, it's blown their brains. It's like I can't cope with this.
Yeah, well, aren't we supposed to? Yeah.
Well,
it's like don't we fire him? It's like, no, you can't fire him. He's committed 16 crimes. We only fire him for the one.
It's like if you kill one person, you're a murderer, but if you kill loads, it's a statistic.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, this it made me think of this. Do you guys remember when this when Mike, when you were talking about how you know, the whole Kevin Hart thing, where you know he said some tweets that people didn't like you know 15 years ago and nobody liked it and stuff, and then so remember when this article came out? Straight black men are the white people of black people.
Yeah. It feels look at the beginning of the article. It feels counterintuitive to suggest that straight black men as a whole possess any sort of privilege, particularly the type of privilege created for and protected by whiteness.
Yep.
But I already titled it, so we got to roll with it. But
this is something they came up with the title first. I'm gonna write an article about this now.
He literally talks about how little like privilege they have, and then says, "But assessing our privilege or lack thereof on these facts considers only our relationship with whiteness and within America."
Mm-hmm. Yep. And
But
so,
black women though, yeah.
Yeah, and so this is what happens when you have woke mentality with all these different things. You just keep moving down the list to the next level of victimization.
They're like,
and
okay, that's getting a little bit big for goalposts. Let's
yeah, yep, exactly.
yeah,
Yep,
they're like, there we go.
yep.
But yet they're literally like, if you want to go by that route, like Ezra Miller is like, I mean, other than the pronouns, just like a white dude, and they're like,
yeah,
we're not gonna fire you. You could do whatever you'd like, commit as many crimes as you want, attack as many women in the street. Listen,
Yep.
we don't care. Like, here's the thing. All the reports are saying he's walking around with bulletproof vests and guns all the time and stuff. Does he just like take them off when he gets to the movie set? Like, does his paranoia stop as soon as he becomes the Flash? Like, this is like the greatest actor in the world because, like, as soon as he becomes a Flash, he forgets all the paranoia that he's been living with.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah,
Like,
I don't understand.
I don't get it.
Because apparently he's hanging out on compounds and stuff too, that and all of these things. And apparently, didn't they just like find some like dead people at one of his compounds recently or something like that?
I don't know.
too?
I didn't read that.
Yeah, I think
God.
let me see, because I could be.
There's a guy over here, one of our celebrities, like, they kept finding dead people in a swimming pool. I think it happened, like, multiple times, and nothing ever happened about it. It was just one of them things, like, oh, he's got another one. Yeah, it was a wild party.
Yeah, they're like, I don't know why they keep drowning themselves in my pool. I know right now the police are unable to locate a mother and her 3 kids who are staying with Ezra Miller in Vermont.
Oh, that's it. Yeah.
They don't know where they are, and they're like, you know what? But don't worry about it. Just keep shooting this freaking movie. As soon as we're done with it, we promise we'll probably move on.
The thing is, I thought when they found out he was walking around in body armor with like weaponry and stuff, that seemed like the most reasonable thing he's ever done. Because that guy starts so many fights. No, of course he's gonna get pounced by people. It's like it's not for self-defense. It's in case he starts another war.
Yeah. I just can't believe it.
Oh my goodness, it's insane, dude. It's insane. But you
just
keep
make a
giving
movie.
him. Just
about dropping Ezra Miller into like Russia or something, and he just like walks around starting fights. That I'd watch that.
Yeah,
it's a documentary like Blair Witch. They didn't even script it; they just did it in real life and followed him around.
Just like Russian people running in terror is like Ezra Miller's like swinging chairs and shooting guns all in the air.
Oh my god,
I'd watch the crap out of that one though. Oh my gosh,
yeah,
dude.
I'd watch that.
Yep. This is insane. Yeah.
I'm
just like reading this stuff, and there's an article on Vox trying to justify like some of that attitude. There's also on trending on Twitter just yesterday. Ezra Miller did nothing wrong.
Yes.
Yeah. Trending on
That's
Twitter.
worse than
Like,
Kylo.
Oh man, let me pull that up, because that's
it's worse than the murderous, bloodthirsty cleric. Like,
it's so bad, dude.
Yeah. Apparently,
Ezra Miller,
Vox,
hashtag Ezra Miller is innocent. Innocent was trending on.
Yeah. Apparently,
Ezra Miller's innocent.
Vox released an article about this, talking about everything that's been happening, and tried to say that part of the reason this has been so difficult because of how famous Ezra Miller has become, because that's a stress that many non-binary and trans people have to face. So that's probably why he's acting the way he's acting.
Mm-hmm.
I remember that from,
sure.
I think it was like Vox videos or something. There was one specifically where it's like, how does it feel like to be the same gender as Trump? And I'm like, well, it's got nothing to do with me. He's just another dude. We're not all the same. We're not tied by, we don't have like umbilical cords that go between us. I'm not held responsible for what somebody else just because he's got the same dangly bits. And that's literally the same. Well, I happen to like the same people that somebody else does. It's like, no. Otherwise, what? Am I going to be held responsible because someone else that thinks Kate Beckinsale is hot kills a person? I'm like, no.
Yeah, that man has
guilty.
That man has a penis and committed a crime. Therefore, all penises are guilty.
That's how ridiculous they think, though. They put everyone in these boxes. I mean, literally everyone.
Dangly bits.
There was someone attacked over here, and then one of the women in the House of Lords stood up and said, "We need to do a curfew for all men so that women can go out and be safe." And the first response was, "Who do you think the police are? Like, who's going to police these people?"
Yeah.
It's gonna have only with policemen.
Yeah, all the male policemen just go, and then women are like, I don't want to go out there. Like, I'm not going to enforce it by myself. Like,
The weirdest thing about that was it was a policeman that did the crime as well. it was like, who's going to enforce this when they're the one that initiated the action, which you're saying started all this?
Yeah. Oh my gosh, dude, it's so nuts, man.
We're staying with $5. I'm a dude playing a dude disguised as another dude connected to every other dude.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah.
It's crazy,
But
man.
yeah, it's always rules for thee, but not for me. You know.
Yeah.
It's either that or Ezra Miller really is some kind of superhero, and we don't know what his power is, or a supervillain. Yeah.
Hashtag Ezra Miller is innocent is trending because it's true. The hate mob and the media fueling them need to cancel themselves.
He's on
Reclaiming
video.
this gorgeous
Uh-huh.
photo
Multiple.
the media has overused in their hysterical smears. The best part about all of this?
Did he
Comments
just
are
spell
turned off.
photo with an F?
Yes.
Yeah.
Comments are turned off on this post.
That's worse
So,
than anything Ezra Miller's done.
Yeah.
There's literally video of him just being a menace everywhere.
Yeah.
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 Yep.
So, yeah. Apparently, there's still some people out there that will defend Ezra Miller no matter what he does. It doesn't matter. So,
Yeah.
it's crazy.
Yeah.
And a lot of that, I don't think it has to do with the fact that he's Ezra Miller. I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that he, has specific labels that,
we haven't been
Right.
using this whole time.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah. But like that's still my favorite part is like when people like go, Ezra Miller's going crazy. Like, what is this dude doing? And they're like, I'm sorry, them for that degenerate.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like,
Yeah, all the reports, like the statements from witnesses of all his crimes, all use the correct terminology. I'm like, I'm sure. Are you sure they said that? Is that on camera or is the audio recorded or anything?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yep.
It's
Exactly.
Yeah. They're a criminal and a degenerate. Stop dehumanizing them. Okay? And you're like, yeah, but like, what about all that? They're like, shut up. I didn't ask about the violence against women. That's not as important as getting the correct pronouns.
Yeah.
As he choke slams a woman into the floor. It's like, he attacked me. They're like, excuse me. It's they, them. Now you're getting arrested because you committed
Cancel.
violence.
Yeah.
Can you imagine if he's like chokes like someone on the floor and someone like, oh, I've got to stop this. I've got to break it up. And they're like dragging him off. He's like, no, hang on. I haven't told you my labels. It's like, oh, sorry, sir. I didn't realize.
Did
Well,
you just
I know-
call me sir?
Yeah, I remember.
Choke slams him into the ground.
I remember at one point, one of the videos.
Everyone
of him,
claps.
like, wow. At one point, when he was getting arrested, he said he didn't want male. He went by they them pronouns, and he didn't want male police officers touching him. So he's like, "Go get female police officers to arrest me." Maybe that's why they won't arrest him because they can't find enough female
No,
police
wouldn't he
officers.
need? Surely he'd need they them police officers.
No, apparently he wanted female police officers. I don't.
Oh,
Yeah.
I wonder why.
Because he can choke slam him.
If I'm gonna get patted down, I'm telling you, I'm picking them. He's got like a lineup. He's like, look, I need at least a 7. I'm not having below a 7.
Yeah.
Ezra Miller really does like to target females though. Like I don't think like
That's because he's a weedy little bloke.
Yeah, every
Like-
violent altercation he has been with a female, I believe, from what I've seen.
Yeah.
So
Well,
yeah.
except for like a couple.
Has there been a couple where it's been a dude?
Well, he held up a couple at their house one time. Like that was one.
Oh
of the
yeah,
things.
yeah.
Isn't that where he burst in with a gun though? I mean,
Yes,
that's a big
he had a gun. Yeah. Well, if he's gonna
Yeah.
he's got to even the odds. Yeah. Real quick, I just want to play this because I thought this is him getting arrested. Oh, what was this? Earlier this year. This has all happened in 1 year.
Doesn't he mean Fifth Amendment rights?
I don't even know.
Yep. That's the thing. Yeah.
Did you see? I film myself when I get assaulted for NFT crypto art. I'm gonna be
Oh
honest.
my
I buy the
gosh.
shit out of those NFTs though. Like
Um,
it's just Ezra Miller beating people up with chairs. Oh man, I'm being assaulted right now. I'm a transgender, non-binary. Yeah.
yeah, it made me think of this as well. Marvel adds trans non-binary actor.
Oh
So
yeah.
how can someone explain to me the logic?
No, I'm
behind that?
trying to make the terminology fit inside.
Like, if you're non-binary, then you don't
Yeah.
like ascribe to a gender, but you're also
Yeah.
trans, which
So
is
what you're
ascribing
changing
from
to.
one gender to another. So, like, how does that work? I don't understand.
I can
Mike.
understand why there's degrees in this stuff because I have a feeling it'll take a while to explain.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
I
exactly.
found a whole FAQ about this, and it's way too long to read. I don't understand it.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah,
Yeah.
you really have to word salad that, I'm sure. So
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep.
It's gonna be like one
yeah.
of the memes, just a
But-
wall of text. A little picture.
Exactly.
Yeah. How
But we're
dare
all we're all straight white men here, including Mike, because he's black and straight, so therefore he's
Yeah.
white.
I'm a straight white
Um,
man,
Yeah.
basically. How dare you assume my pronouns and everything?
That's what I love though. It's sort of like the discussion, the way they were talking about whiteness in that whole thing was like it was a literal thing that exists. So the same way they talk about the patriarchy. It's not a person. It's not like a thing that exists in the way. We don't have meetings and sign up for it or anything.
Yeah.
Oh well, this Wednesday I could probably tell you what the plans are actually. It's like
Yeah.
what they talk about. As if it's a literal physical embodiment. Oh.
Yeah. I'm late for my patriarchy meeting. I gotta go. Like, well, which one is that? Because
We should
you're
start those actually. That'd actually be a big advantage.
well, that'd be the best part though, is like because the way that it's all categorized, like you go to one and they go, well, your skin's a little too dark to go to this meeting. We need you to go to the Wednesday meeting because this is the white patriarchy meeting because we're all
Yeah.
classified in different ways, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Got like a
Like-
chart.
like you're on the Thursday ones.
Yep. Colton Lynch, thank you for the $10 super chat. Disney and DC are burning, and I'm sitting here enjoying the fire. LOL.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a learned skill that is very useful in today's day and age. If you can just see the trash, watch it burn, and laugh,
Mhm.
you're seriously the next 2 months especially going to be amazing.
Oh my gosh, I'm having such a great time with it
Yeah.
already. Yeah.
Thank you, Colton.
I don't
Thank you
know.
for that super chat. Appreciate that.
Well, yeah, man. I know we're getting close, but I got some more. Boy, oh boy. I mean, they're kind of rolling with the punches. I feel like Hollywood, this whole thing, everything, they're just trying to overwhelm us. They're trying to give us too many articles and things to talk about, so we can't keep up with all of them. But apparently, there's supposed to be the new play from Shakespeare's London Globe. They're portraying historical French icon Joan of Arc as a non-binary individual who finds her strength by questioning the gender binary.
Mhm.
It's
Yes.
worth pointing out as well, this language didn't exist until like I think like the 80s at the first,
Yeah.
and that's in like
Yeah.
your little academic papers. And
Uh-huh.
it didn't really hit mainstream until like maybe 4 years ago. So
Yeah,
Joan of Arc maybe
exactly.
pushing it
Yeah.
a little bit.
Yeah, written
Like
by
the concept didn't exist.
written by British playwright and actor Charlie Josephine, whose bio notes that they are particularly passionate about stories that center working class women and queer people. And helmed
How
by
are
I'm
those two
not going to
things
read them.
linked?
I
Like
don't know.
what do they have to do with anything? It's like, well, I'm
Well,
working.
They're against the patriarchy.
Mm.
True.
Yeah,
Yes.
the patriarchy links us all. The
The
patriarchy is the glue that binds society together. So we have to destroy it so society falls apart in unity.
I
The
remember one of my first
patriarchy is-
videos. I
Go
did
ahead.
a thing about patriarchy, and I had like the lights flashing red behind me. So I haven't paid my dues this year. What if they come for me? There's like a man in a suit. I think it was the guy from Half-Life, like
Oh, yeah.
flashing behind the screen. It's like, what if they come for me? And it's like appearing in the screen.
That's hilarious.
Yeah,
Oh,
the
man.
patriarchy is the figurative umbilical cord that connects all men. So
Yeah. Well, apparently it connects
That's very
everything
poetic.
because you couldn't have working class women, if they couldn't overcome the patriarchy.
true.
Women would never succeed at anything if there wasn't a patriarchy to overcome.
Yeah.
There wasn't that glass ceiling to shatter. What could women really accomplish?
That is where the true worth of women lies, is trying to fight the patriarchy. So
Yeah. If it
The
wasn't
glass
for
ceiling
men,
example has always been weird, though, hasn't it? It's like
Yeah.
back in the day, all women used to wear skirts, and so everyone would have wanted them on top of the ceiling, not like underneath it.
yeah, yeah. The men are all fighting again. Begins an official synopsis of the play. An endless war. From nowhere, an unexpected leader emerges. Young, poor, and about to spark a revolution. This is Joan. Rebelling against the world's expectations, questioning the gender binary, Joan finds their power and their belief spreads like fire. But it continues before inviting audiences. Join us in the wooden O and feel the heat of the sun and the pulse of Joan's passion.
I mean, when they put it like that, it's not like a very intimidating name, is it? It's like, I'm going to lead a revolution. Who is it? Joan. It's like,
yeah.
It's not like
Oh
Butch.
my gosh.
Butch and Sundance. No, we've got Joan. You know, she bakes cookies on a Sunday, but apart from that,
it's insane, dude.
I
Absolutely.
don't know why they went for Joan of Arc. Like, that's. She's one of the people who people are like, well, you know, she did at least lead armies. My only knowledge of her comes from Age of Empires 2.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
literally.
I mean, that's the thing. Like, it's you have somebody in history that like is supposed to be like a female icon, and they're like, you know what? That's not good enough. Can we just remove the fact that she was a woman? Can we make her non-binary? That's a better way to do it, right? Yeah, that's how they always see everything. It's like, you know, yeah, they can't even just stick with like what they, you know, like they can't give a woman any credit. They have to make her non-binary so that, you know, that's more important.
Yep.
Yeah. That actually makes it closer to the patrarchy, so I'm all for it.
Yeah, well, that's my favorite part. It's like now she's not even a woman anymore. Yeah, it's like in between. So
Yeah, it's like it's one of ours.
yeah. She's basically a dude. She's one. Yeah, she's a T and a Y away from being a he. So I don't know. Yeah, man.
Yep.
I mean, yeah.
Can't wait to take her to her first patriarchy meeting. That'll be great. So
yeah, yep.
Yep.
I just love that. That's like the idea. But yeah, I mean, this is crazy. You know, darn us men for being so integral to history that, you know, everything that any woman ever does has to be about stopping what a man has done.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man, it's crazy.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
kind of going back to the whole Yuri Bezmenov thing, that's the whole idea, is to you know, completely destabilize and destabilize society, and that's all.
Yeah.
That's all part of it. So
Yeah.
yeah. So with that being said, I think that'll probably wrap it up there for the show for today. Disbrew, do you?
I just had this image of like aliens coming down to land in like a few hundred years. Like civilizations ended, we've all nuked ourselves, and they're like digging through the rubbish. We got to find out how this ended. What happened to them? And they're just like, there was this weird, strange, like race of blue-haired people that came down, and they just destroyed everything. I don't know what happened. I don't know what the head I did to them, but apparently it was their downfall.
Oh man, that's actually really great though.
Oh man. So yeah, thank you everyone for coming out. We really appreciate it. It was another awesome show. And you know, who knows what happened to Ben? I don't know. He just kind of disappeared.
Well, my favorite part is we got rid of Ben without having to actually get rid of him.
He just yeeted himself, didn't he?
Yeah.
He just
Yeah.
vanished.
He just vanished off the face of the earth. That's the way I prefer things to happen. Yeah. A lot less work and I get a lot less damage on my shovels if you guys just disappear and I don't have to worry about it, you know?
True.
Well,
True.
probably hugging a tree somewhere.
Well, for Ben specifically, I don't know what else he has to plug. He never plugs anything, but go check him out every Thursday on Geeks and Gamers Tabletop.
Yeah.
Advanced Geeks and Gamers. You can check them out there. I'm mostly plugging it for the Advanced Geeks and Gamers side of it, but Ben's on that show too, so you can check him out there.
Yep, absolutely. And Mike, what else do you have going on?
Hey, you can catch me here every Saturday. Catch me every Monday and Wednesday on the EpicVerse podcast. Catch me every Monday with Disparu on the Secrets of the Frostbane campaign on G&G Tabletop. It's a good time. And then, you can catch me on Twitch pretty much during the week, doing something, playing something, talking about things. Yeah, I mean, it's always a good time. So
Mike is getting very close to 1,000 followers on Twitch.
We're closing in. We had like a big boost.
Yeah,
So-
go follow him over on there on Twitch. He needs like 70 more followers, I think.
68.
68 more followers.
Wow.
So and
Yeah, we're closing in, and my plan is if I can get 1,000 followers, sooner rather than later, I'm going to do a 1,000-minute stream. I'm not going to do a 1,000-hour stream. I'll die. But I'll do a 1,000-minute stream, which is like 16 hours, 17 hours.
Nice.
So.
Dude, that'll be lit.
Yeah. I mean,
so
17 hours is about
we
max.
We gotta make that happen. We gotta make that happen.
Yeah, we get there.
Yeah, because it's essentially an entire day. It's just the only bit that's you don't sleep, you're on.
Yeah, and you guys will watch me steadily devolve into madness because that's a long time.
Gosh, that'll be fun.
Yeah.
That'll be a good time.
Sure, yeah, it'll be a great time. I'll start out having a really fun time, and then
you need to get Jay Hailstorm on the screen and be like, "Your mic's broken."
Yeah, hello. Can you hear me?
Mike is at 932 followers right now. So
yeah, we're getting there.
Let's get him there, guys. Let's get him there.
Yep.
I want to see Mike fall into complete insanity. That'd be good. So
I'm really tempted even to like add a little bit of extra spice and only play like horror games the entire time.
Yes.
Yeah. Maybe I'll start with like Outlast and then Outlast 2 and everything, and just
that'd be cool because a lot of those games they do only last a few hours, so you could do several in one stream.
Yeah.
Oh, that'd be so good. That'd be
I'll
so
probably
good.
lose my shit doing it. So yeah, that's kind of what I'm considering doing.
Yeah.
Or by the end, you're just like the bravest person on earth. I can take anything now. Nothing affects me.
Yeah, I can't feel fear anymore. It broke me.
What is it like? The adrenal gland is just like shot. It's like I'm never gonna have this again.
Just burned out. That's my supervillain arc. Is the guy can't feel fear. Oh man, yeah. So I appreciate that.
Yeah. So and then Dispro, what do you have going on?
Dispro on YouTube just released another She-Hulk video, which is coming out next Wednesday, I think it is. Going to be doing reviews on that, and then obviously more Rings of Power stuff, and probably Andor and whatever else trash is coming out over the next few months. It's going to be a busy time, but it should be a hilarious disaster to watch everything happen. So many people are like, Andor's going to be good. I'm like, okay, if you think so, let's go and see it, 'cause so far...
Yeah. Yikes.
Yeah.
Yikes. Yeah, so with that being said, thank you so much, everyone, for coming out. We appreciate it all. And we'll be here next Saturday at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and we'll catch you all then. So have a great rest of your weekend, and we'll catch you all later. Bye.
See ya.